We're back. It's another week of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, episode 148. And we are joined once again by a special guest, Nick from Bitcoin Live.
Yeah, Nick.
What's up, man?
It's good to see, good to be with you guys. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Happy New Year to you and happy holidays. And Merry Christmas.
Just all of them.
Yes.
In one big package.
Well, Topher has changed his name. He is WITWI. Can you figure that out, Nick? What do you think it means?
It kind of sort of reminds me of World War something.
Okay, well, you got a world in there.
Yeah, exactly. World is in there.
You have to help me out.
Yeah, I will. I won't leave you hanging. As always, I'm joined by I Have a Need to Know Adam.
What's up, everyone?
And I am Where in the World is Topher?
Yes, jet setting around the world.
That's right. I'm Mr. Worldwide. I have now been to 2 countries. No, I'm kidding. But I have been in several cities all over Colombia right now. And just the other night, got home to my new home and was just laying down to rest when some unfortunate or fortunate, depending on who you are, news was happening during the crazy New Year party that everyone seemed to be having.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, but you guys are close enough, but you don't hear any rumblings or anything like that.
No. That's
okay.
Yeah, we share a border, and that's what I was texting you, Adam. I said it.
Yeah,
we're not close like in danger, but we're close enough. I mean, it's a few hundred miles west of where that was all going on. So
yeah, I mean, if chaos is on the border. That's a dangerous thing.
That's always dangerous. Yeah, and because that kind of stuff seems to spread.
So where are you located?
Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's in Colombia.
Beautiful country.
It's freezing here, by the way, and raining. But
it's storming and raining here right now too.
Oh, look at that! Very interesting.
And you captured some UFOs, right, Topher?
Yes, I was putting them in the chat. We had a lot of orange orbs that it was like every night. It was crazy. Yeah, I kept putting them in the chat with us and Sid. I also captured a crop circle. I hope everyone found that crop circle video really super interesting.
Yeah. So you saw that from the apartment or from the house?
It was a joke, the crop circle thing. If you remember pulling it up, someone had just.
Oh yeah. I know. But everything you were filming though is out from the house.
Yeah, nice. Just right from our balcony. It was really cool. It was just over the city of Medellin or Medellin, depending on where your accent is from. But yeah, there was a lot of them going over the city at night. I think they were attracted to the spotlights that were coming from the ground. It was pretty much overcast for that entire first week I was here. And so the spotlights coming from the ground were reflecting off the underside of the clouds, right? And that's when orbs showed up. And that was my theory, because the night it was clear, we got no orbs.
Huh.
Did you talk? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nick.
Did you talk to anybody that lives there? Is it like a regular occurrence, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very regular, actually. It's very common, especially around the cities. I spent last week in Cartagena, which is a beach city, and I was thinking like, oh, ocean, tons of UFO action.
Right.
So I had my eyes on the sky the entire time, and I didn't see a thing. It was just over Medellin so far.
Interesting. Well, there are a lot of videos that we've played them on the show too before that come out of Medellin, right? Medellin. So I guess if they are attracted to just something like spotlights, and these are automatic things, like I don't think there's actual beings in there that are worried about spotlights, right? It just seems like automatic behavior of some kind.
Yeah, I mean,
like programmed.
We played that clip of the guy a few weeks ago, maybe even a month or more ago, where he was launching fiery golf balls into the sky, and he got a UFO to swing by to see what he was doing. So I don't know, maybe they're, for whatever reason, they see lights coming from the ground and go, hey, we better check that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you got the theory, right, with the plasma that, some of these UFOs are sort of like plasma beings, like, ball lightning. And, so that could be like a sort of rudimentary intelligence that sort of reacts to light or electromagnetic.
Yeah, something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, plasma is so mysterious. We've known about it for a long time. It's just been suppressed, right? And Nick, I know you have read a lot about it and have watched a lot of videos and followed the scientists who are at the forefront of this. But it's not in the mainstream. I think only recently they added plasma to the curriculum, where it's
it's now breaking out, right? I mean,
right.
you've been talking about it like forever probably, but you really see this sort of sea change happening, right? And I think in your last podcast with Sid, with the 25 like moments, right?
Yeah.
And I think you guys also mentioned that even though there is probably no disclosure, like real disclosure coming, you do see that there's so much momentum behind this movement right now that it's you can't push it back under the carpet.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, especially with that plasma physicist that got assassinated, right, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And there's a lot of videos surfacing of what he was talking about. The guy was brilliant. It was a real tragedy that we lost him, and I don't know how many years it set us back losing him.
Well, hopefully his research got passed along at least. I mean, I have to imagine it did. Or maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the way things are going so far this year, who knows what's going on?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, but I think they're sort of pushing for some of these things, and then then some people probably take it too far or reveal too much, and then they have to be whistled back, or they have to get back in line or be shot.
Well, it just seems like like the mob runs this place, right? Especially the way Trump behaves.
They are,
I mean, and they took out this scientist, and then all of a sudden Trump media merges with, I think, TAE Systems, is that their name? And they are a fusion company. They merged. I mean, it's just strange to see the president of the United States merge with a fusion company when the guy has nothing ever to do with anything technological. So, he knows something, and then, I mean, did they take this guy out because he was competition, or they couldn't recruit him? It's very, very weird. Weird timing too.
Yeah. But I think you're right. It's the mob, right?
Yeah,
I mean, clearly the mob.
Yeah, they act like the mob, they talk like the mob, right? Everyone around Trump. I mean, if you're not with us, basically, you're our enemy, kind of thing. And look what we just did in Venezuela. It's like a mob hit. But yeah, I mean, let's get into this. We have like half of the show would be UFOs, and then we can get into geopolitics. Nick, I don't know how you want to do this. If we just want to go through every item and then talk about it, but also you did have a vacation in Belgium, you said, right?
Yeah.
So did you see anything while you're there? I mean, I know there's the Belgian UFO flap. They do have many of them, not just the one in the 80s. But
in the 90s, they had a big one in the 90s.
90s, that's what it was. Yeah.
That was the famous Belgium UFO flap, which was huge.
Right.
But I like I said, we've been going there before we went live for years, and my brother. It's basically his wife that took my brother there, and then they said like, do you also want to join? And then I sort of joined their tradition, but their tradition goes back like 50 years. They've been going to sort of the same place,
or
the same area, and doing this thing that they do. And I sort of joined them, and I've been going for like about 8 years or 10 years now, and I haven't seen a single thing.
No, not one thing. So is it sort of like a pilgrimage kind of thing?
Now it's like it started I think sort of relatives of my brother's wife, sort of great grandfathers. They were sort of biologists, and they sort of went to that area because of the biological science and doing research, and they also liked walking there. And then it turned into sort of like a family tradition thing where friends of theirs also went with them, and then and basically it turned into walking, eating, playing games, talking, and enjoying nature, and doing these long walks through nature. And that's what it has turned into.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So at night you didn't see, I mean, I'm sure because these are smaller villages, so probably light pollution is very low. I mean, were you guys outside at night and looking at the stars or anything moving up there? Yeah.
Well, sometimes you do see a satellite.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
Stuff like that, or a falling star. You see a lot of that, and sometimes you see something that might be sort of like a UFO.
Yeah.
But it's not very clear. It's not like Topher. Topher makes these beautiful shots, right?
Oh man,
I've never seen anything remotely like that.
Yeah. So same thing when I was in Switzerland, where it was for sure there were satellites. When you see something weird, I didn't see anything zipping. I'll see something moving, right? Not flashing, but it could be a satellite. There's so many of them up there.
But yeah, you're right. There's very little light pollution, so you have a very clear sky, especially if it's cold, which it usually is around that time.
Right. Yeah.
So you can see a lot of stars, like you can see very far.
And was there a huge New Year's celebration, or were you back by then?
I was back by then, and there was a huge New Year celebration in Amsterdam. I think this is like the last year that we can officially, do fireworks ourselves, and then they plan to ban it.
Oh man!
But good luck.
Yeah, seriously, people are just going to do it alone. I remember LA banned it, and then every single house did it themselves. So there was more fireworks than before. Yeah.
But there was extra fireworks this year because of that, I think. And so it was a lot of fun. We blew up a lot of fireworks.
Very fun. Yeah, well, around here it was very quiet because we're in suburbia, so it wasn't too much. I think everyone celebrates the New York one here in California, or at least the families do, because it's early. So they basically celebrate at 9, do the countdown at 9. Then everyone's in bed by 10. It's really boring.
Well, I'll tell you what. In Colombia, they celebrate New Year's for about a week and a half before and after New Year's. The fireworks have just recently stopped. I'm not kidding. It was fireworks city over here for for a long time, a lot of days.
Man, that's why I love.
Yeah, that's why they're drawing the UFOs, right? They think there's some kind of war going on there.
That's probably what it is.
I know, crazy humans blowing stuff up. That's all we do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw in the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Apparently saw a UFO. Now it could be a drone, although it's moving way too fast. Let's have a look at this. It could be parallax too. I'm not sure. Watch it. There it is. And it turned around. Did you see that?
I mean, okay. My only belief as to why this might be a drone is because you've got one camera. The camera that's showing this is moving one direction, right?
He's moving, yeah.
He's moving to the right. And then if this drone is something moving to the left, it'd make it look a lot faster. That being said, it could be a UAP. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. And some people linked like other videos, which I couldn't see anything in the other videos. But I guess because it's on a helicopter, the camera, so there is parallax there. But still, look how fast that thing's moving. Don't forget, the Burj is like, what is it, 800 meters? 800 meters? Or 1,800 meters, something like that. It's almost it's a mile or almost a kilometer.
It's the tallest building in the world, right?
Right, yes, exactly. So there's a lot of distance here. And each one of these are like 40, 50 stories. So when you talk about this distance from here to here, I mean, that's a huge distance. But yeah, could be a drone.
Well, what's interesting is that you do see more and more of these kind of videos pop up. So people are more alert to the fact that there might be UFOs flying around, right? Because you see more of these videos also with news stations that sometimes they capture something during a news event. So people are sort of paying attention.
I was this is in 2000 and 2010. Wait, was it 2010? I was on a business trip in Ajman, so it was one of the Emirates in the UAE, and this is before drones were big. I remember I was out on the balcony, and I saw this with many people. I was out on the balcony, and I see 4 lights because there's a lot of buildings there, a lot of buildings under construction, right? So when you see like tall structures under construction, they always have lights on them, just so like planes don't crash into them. So I was looking over the water, and I see these 4 lights that they're just stuck there. So it looks like it's a foundation. That's something. I'm like, and I call my wife. I'm like, are they building a building over there? Up basically in the water. And she's like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, one of them just moves away, right? But the other three stay. And then the father comes out, and then the mom as well. So all of us are watching these things, and they just slowly go away. No blinking, no sound. Now, it could have been drones, right? It could have been one of the sheikhs or something, but it was really early on. We're talking about 2010 here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty early for drone stuff.
Right. They were still there, and maybe they had access to them. I don't know. But it was just bizarre because when you looked at them, it just looked like they're on something, on a foundation,
Well, to
not
be honest,
not just hovering. Yeah.
I think that sounds more like a genuine UFO phenomenon, right? I don't know if you saw the interview with the guy from Norway with the Baltic Sea anomaly, and it's sort of like a prototypical vision. Like very early in the morning, he wakes up, looks through the window, and he sees this gigantic. I forgot how big it was. I think 300 feet or 600 feet. It was gigantic, like hanging silently on the horizon, like completely still, like it was on a foundation.
Yeah,
and he couldn't sort of figure out what he was looking at because it was completely still, but it was sort of out of place. And then it turned on a dime, and then it turned out to be circular because from the side it looked like a cigar. And then it flew, right over him in a few seconds, right? And then it was gone. But sort of the fact that it can hang completely still without motion, as if it is sort of on a foundation, and making these patterns like what you just mentioned, like that sounds very much like a UFO.
Yeah, it's really, it's hard to explain because it really felt like it was like on some kind of foundation, very strong, not like not like a leaf or something like that, like in the air, floating in the air,
like stop still.
Yes, completely still, right? Yeah,
and early,
right. And this was in the morning. Oh, sorry, early evening. But
okay.
No sound, nothing like that. Yeah. So UAE does have, I don't know why, but it's had these things for a while. Could be because they're near
those
water.
lights on the ground, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, like what is going on? It's the middle of the desert. These people are building like skyscrapers like there's no tomorrow. Especially back then, it was like they were just building. What is that called? The Palm and these things. I wonder, huge projects.
I wonder if that's somehow related to it. As like you said, you just something piqued my interest there. You said Dubai in the middle of the desert, right?
Right.
It's like nothing really should be there, and then there's this big influx of humans. And if you know anything about Medellin, it is built right in the middle of a jungle, so it's nothing and mountains, everywhere around it. And then the bottom of this valley is this city that's built, and the city, it's really cool, kind of spills up the side of the mountains, but it's just in the middle of nowhere. It's jungle, and then there's a big city.
So maybe you're invading their territory.
Yeah. Right. They exactly. They had peace before, and they chose these areas because humans are not going to be attracted to them. And all of a sudden, we're moving in.
Yeah,
like, I mean, what the hell is it?
And especially if they're just poking their heads up every 1,000 years or whatever. I mean, they'd be like, "Wait, what? This was our land. What happened here?"
Yeah, that could definitely be true. Like,
And of course, no one is surprised about this news that has come out that multiple sources allege Senator McConnell, the dinosaur who has frozen multiple times on camera, and his chief of staff, Terry Carmack, were central to blocking the UAP Disclosure Act from the FY fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act, citing staff-driven procedural and jurisdictional objections that prevented congressional access to highly classified UAP programs.
Yeah, he's trying to hide his fellow lizard people as long as possible.
I mean, what is this face? Look at total.
He's wearing a human skin suit.
He is.
Well, the CIA and they have had these sort of masks that they can put on, which are really, when you see somebody sort of take it off, it's like really strange that you can actually transform somebody's face wearing these kind of sort of skin masks that they developed.
They're really impressive. They're expensive, huh? I think they go in the thousands, but they are very, very convincing. And yeah, you just reminded me, someone from the CIA who created those had a meeting with George W. Bush, was it? And they actually wore a mask, and they were sitting close to the president. He had no idea that the mask was on.
Yeah, and remember, I mean, it's an obvious. I mean, it's not a secret that dictators they use doubles and triples and quadruples, right? Why wouldn't we do the same thing? Like,
right, exactly. Saddam did that. I guess Maduro didn't do that. All right.
or he did, and then somebody's on the boat.
yeah. And I guess phones have really ruined that in a way. I mean, these systems like Palantir will identify you by your phone, by your user behavior, what you're looking at, who you're talking to, all these things. So I can't see doubles having the same fingerprints as you or as the real person. So that might
but you would use them only on strategic moments, of course, not like continuously. At least I agree. It would be kind of hopeless if you tried.
Agreed. And I would like to get myself one of those masks. I've been looking at them for a while, actually. Hey, maybe that's how we can get on camera, Topher.
Yeah, there we go. Sure. That sounds. There's no way that could possibly backfire.
I mean, it'll definitely throw off the AI trying to identify us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Guys, I have to reveal something. It's actually not my real face that I.
Oh my god! Oh man!
Actually, I'd wear a Mitch McConnell mask for our podcast. It'd probably fit.
So funny.
Probably fit just as well as it does on him.
I'll do the Jeremy Corbell one.
Well, that's this guy is obviously also wearing a mask.
Yeah. Do you know who this is?
No idea.
So this is Ryan Bledsoe. This is Chris Bledsoe's son. He's got the lady right there in the background. He's got, but he's really into consciousness. He's went to the Monroe Institute. He's done all their studies. So he's really cool. He's very. What I like about him, he's positive. Now I don't know about what's happening with Chris Bledsoe. Topher, you did send me a clip, and we'll play it after this one.
Yeah, good.
But he had great interviews, especially on the higher side chats. What I like about him is like if the lady's real, he's saying that, or whatever these entities are, that they are stronger than the people who are running this world, and that they know that, and that's the danger, that they want to stop them. So he basically says the same message here. It's a positive message, gives us hope, and it works every single time. At least on me, it does. Even though I've been screwed over
every time.
Every time, I still believe it every time.
The lady is the most important part of all of this. The lady is the being that is running the show and that is coming here with fury to wake us up from the ruling control system here, from the dark forces that are binding us to this place, from those negative, sadistic, parasitic, vampiric forces that want to feast on our minds and our suffering and keep us trapped here. The lady is the force that, destroys that and severs that power over us. Now, we are approaching a point where on the collective level, this power will have free reign in our world as long as we all collectively and freely invite it. And I believe they will be able to help get rid of the dark forces that are controlling us. And, their days are numbered. The dark forces are numbered. And that's kind of what the plan is of this UFO phenomenon. It's not just a dog and pony show. It's not a magic trick. It is a very real prophetic force that has been guiding us for thousands of years, helping us barely survive, right? Until we got to this fated moment in our destiny where these two worlds were crossed, where they can just have free reign to come into our world and do what they want.
What do you guys think? I mean, is it a cool story, bro? Is it another like hopium thing, or is there truth in this?
Well, the way I look at it, like if there's something to the UFO phenomenon, and I think there is, because and I think you guys also think that's the case. Then that does put all those religious stories from the past into a new light, right? Because you got a lot of different theories regarding religion. You got the Freudian theories, Durkheim theories. You got a lot of different ways to look at religion, But basically, all of those different theories that we normally apply on religion is that they make stuff up. But there's also another possibility, and that is actually true.
Right.
Right.
And
and that they were trying to convey to us what they saw with the tools and the concepts and the imagery that they were accustomed to, which were sort of course, culturally determined at the time. So maybe they did, see UFOs and aliens and, interacted with them in some way. And if that's the case, then, if that's the case, then it means that UFOs in the past had like a tremendous direct influence on human society, like in a very real and visual, direct way that is hard to fathom, right? So, and then, he's using the lady as an imagery, which looks a lot like Lady Mary.
Yep. Yes, she does.
Yeah, so, maybe we're going through another epoch where religion becomes suddenly very real.
I just think we humans we're flawed creatures. We live in the three-dimensional realm. We think, breathe, live off of our meat, right? We've got meat in our heads, we've got meat on our bones, all this other stuff. And so when a trans-dimensional being shows up and does whatever it's going to do, fly around in its UFO or show up looking like an angel, humans are going to interpret that in the only way that they know how. They're going to interpret it using their meat eyes and meat brains, and they're going to come up with some sort of meat story about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And and that's why often you'll see with UFO cases where the same people have seen the same UFO event, they interpret it differently or they see it differently. It's not because one of them is lying or something along those lines. It's just a matter of interpretation and how your brain, your experiences and your whole life shapes your perception, right? And so someone may see the Virgin Mary, someone may see, oh, look, that's my mom, or someone says, what the hell are you talking about? That's a giraffe. I mean, I think it's things like that. But when you start getting into the woo-woo stuff, then all these things, all these interpretations, the lady or religions or whatever, I mean, it comes down to whatever the belief system or whatever the perception of whoever is describing it.
I totally agree. I mean, all bets are off. And one of the other things that I want to say that sort of ties into what you said, like, when you, for example, when you do philosophy and you have like phenomenology and you have people looking at things from different perspectives, and that's like what you just said, like, it colors what you see and it determines sort of the things that you focus on. But with UFOs, it could also be that they directly tap into your brain, like on a way more deeper level,
right?
And that like our belief systems are actually sort of activated, and that they can actually cloak themselves in what we think, like that,
in
that we're not actually seeing them, we're actually thinking them.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, our brains, and this has been proven, is that our brains reconstruct the world inside of us. Right. I mean, it's trying to do it as accurate as possible, but it's also filtered through our beliefs, our perceptions, all of that. I mean, that's what's called the mind's eye. So I believe that. I mean, that'd be a perfect way to cloak yourself. Right.
Yeah. I guess a simpler way to say what I just said, because I was sort of fumbling around, but that they're not, that it's not our senses, but they're actually tapping into something deeper, that they're actually, skipping our senses, our eyes and our ears and our noses, but they're actually tapping directly into our brain feed, right? And cloaking them in that sense.
Themselves in there. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yes. And, the perception, I think it's the same phenomenon going back, right? Even with religions and going forward, but the perceptions of it has changed with how civilization has progressed. And so when we got to the nuclear era in the 40s and 50s, all of a sudden we were advanced beings. We're like, oh, then there's other advanced beings out there, and space, then it must be filled with them, and that means these UFOs that we're seeing are coming from space or other planets. I'm not saying that's not the truth, but it evolved. Like, we never said that before when angels showed up, and we're talking to humans. They weren't considered NHI. They were considered divine beings created by God, right? And so, and nowadays, when people see the Nordics, they still have angelic descriptions, but they're not called angels, although people do sometimes refer to them as angels. So it's progressed with the times, and now since we understand quantum physics, we understand consciousness a little better than we did before, and we have different theories of how reality works. Now that's changing, right?
And one of the very interesting, if you know, with Diana Pasolka, she does raise a very interesting point when it comes to UFOs, and she's basically saying that there's a new religion is forming around UFOs, which I think is true. And it's very interesting, right? We do it too, right? You go back to religion and you start looking at religion in a new light. But one of the other features that she highlights is technology plays sort of like a fundamental role in the UFO phenomenon. So it's a religion where spirituality and technology and science merge into one. And I think sort of the fact that UFOs have this sort of technological aspect to it makes that we are interested in it and that we want to interact with it and develop it and replicate it. But that sort of brings with it the spiritual element, which has been lacking in Western society for so long, because it was only sort of reductionist, materialist, scientific, kind of thinking. So it's very interesting that the UFO phenomenon brings back the spiritual, the technological, and the scientific into one thing, one uniting theory of everything. Yep.
Yeah. And that's what's needed to understand it fully, really, because yes, it is technological, but it's also spiritual. At least, you know, it's missing from the equation. I mean, our consciousness is missing from our equations, right? We don't include consciousness, at least not now in mainstream. We don't include consciousness in our formulas, in our physics formulas.
But the reverse is also true. You know, when many atheists and unbelievers are, you know, talking about religion, they often say, okay, it's nice, right? These are all nice stories and whatever, but they're just stories, right? There's nothing concrete. There's nothing.
I mean, my argument against that is, if it was just stories, no one would have believed. And you know, I don't care if you're like, oh, but with violence, everyone believed. No, I think something really happened where there was many individuals that witnessed these things.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? The point is, I agree with you. I think there was something actually happening. Like, it was not just somebody making up a story. Something actually happened to these people, and then you come back to the UFO thing, right? Something is actually happening, right? There's actually something physical happening, even though it might be transdimensional or whatever it is. But there's some real interaction with technical components, scientific components, where the spiritual and the real world actually meet, because that has been sort of lacking in religion. And while it's sort of, you know, fumbling around when it, you know, competes with science and technology, because religion can't really produce anything except stories until now.
Yeah. Until now, you're right. It's like, and that's why. I mean, is it a coincidence then that the latest things happening in 2026?
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So convergence is happening, and someone is trying to get ahead of it. The intelligence agencies are trying to get ahead of it so they can control a narrative. But it looks like the NHI are also trying to get ahead of it. So there's it's like a battle for the human mind.
Do you want to hear something cool?
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm actually gonna create. I'm busy creating a game, like a board game.
Yeah.
I'm now giving other people idea, but you know.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, don't.
But okay, I'll leave it at that. But it is sort of related to all of this stuff.
Oh, very cool, man.
Very cool,
I'm sure that will do really well. If I think I have a hint of where it's going. That'll be really cool, man. That'll be a lot of fun, actually.
It's good that you stopped me.
Yeah, man, because people steal things all the time. So
of course,
yeah.
We should remind our listeners that anything that's said in this podcast is automatically trademarked. So they can't take it from us.
It's like a 60-year copyright.
Yeah, exactly.
60-year. I'm gonna put the disclaimer under the description.
You absolutely should.
If you under each show, anything you listen to is automatically trademarked.
Every word, every single
word.
So funny. All right, so
that's how Warhammer and Marvel operate, right? They steal everything and then they copyright.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was Disney's how they did everything for a very long time.
Oh yeah. They live off that. They live off licensing.
Yeah. So bring your fan art and then we'll put copyright on it.
Yeah,
exactly. So this is Ryan Bledsoe. He's Chris Bledsoe's son, and if you don't know about Chris Bledsoe, he wrote the UFO of God, and apparently he has access to orbs or contacts orbs, and he's shown many people this. Although Topher sent me this, Representative Burleson says he put Chris Bledsoe on the spot to summon orbs, and nothing happened. Which is strange. Usually the guy's able to do this. Right. He was just in Laguna Beach doing it for Sammy Hagar, and he apparently many groups go to North Carolina and he takes these groups out and these orbs show up, but apparently it didn't work with Burleson. Here, let's take a listen.
I went to dinner with him. I'm trying to remember if it was after the hearings or before one of the hearings. Went to dinner with him and some other people that are kind of in a way that they're kind of Chris Bledsoe groupies. And I'm saying that in the most they're good people too, but they're all friends together. So I didn't really know them very well, but they wanted to have a conversation. So I just happened to have the evening open and we went to dinner, and I didn't know who Chris was. I learned about his story and what he claimed to me that he was able to actually communicate with, and that he had like the ability to communicate and call in UAPs. And so I asked him, so where does this happen? In the desert, over the water? Where can this happen? Over a city? And he said, anywhere. And I said, anywhere, any time of the day, at night, when? And he said, pretty much any time. It's easier to see it at night. And I said, what about right now? What about right here, right now? And I said that because I have been, this last year and a half or more of being involved in this topic, it gets pretty frustrating to hear lots of stories, to hear people's firsthand accounts, and yet not have no receipts, no proof, nothing. And so I asked him if he would be willing to demonstrate that. We went on the Capitol Mall. After a few hours, I gave him a few hours and nothing happened. But then I was told that a few weeks later they went to the exact same location, and I think they recorded it. It was on Ross Coulthard's show. They actually released some videos that they had taken from their cell phones of some objects that they reportedly, according to them, that they called in with Chris. But I was not there, so I can't confirm that was the case. All I can tell you is that I gave him a chance, went out with him, and nothing happened.
So he gave him a few hours too. So pretty disappointing that Chris wasn't able to get these orbs, and it doesn't help the case really. It means that he has to have more time to set up something. I don't know how he does it.
A lot of guys get performance anxiety. I've been there.
Yeah, so
it also ties again into the sort of religious thing, right? Remember, in religious texts, there's often skeptics or people who don't believe, and then something doesn't happen, which confirms their disbelief, right? So, and then within the UAP field, there's many people. I think Ross Coulthard is one of them, but there's many others as well who sort of complain exactly like this guy. Like, I haven't seen anything, right? But for example, with Ross Coulthard, there's this lady that he sometimes does sort of the weekly thing. And one of those ladies, because I think it's like 2 or 3 of them, she went, I think, to Greece at some point on a holiday, and she was also a disbeliever. But apparently she actually saw like a gigantic sort of silver orb hanging in the sky. And Ross was like, what? I've been doing this for how many years now? And you go to Greece and you see an orb. But she was like, she was kind of shocked by it. But I just think there's like this trickster element within it. And like we just said, like if UAPs can look directly into our brains, and it also reminds me of brain-machine interfaces, right? Only a very highly advanced brain-machine interface. But if they can do it, and maybe there's reasons that they don't want to reveal them to that particular individual. And remember also that some people can actually summon UFOs, that they are actually looking somewhere, then suddenly they see something, and then they think in their mind like, oh, I wish I could see it a little bit closer, and then it suddenly comes closer. There's a lot of those kind of stories too, that there's actually,
Real quick, when we were seeing the orbs over the city, all of us, we were like, we talked to each other after. We always like, come over here, come closer, I want to see you, come closer. Like that was, we were trying to send that message out as positively and not demandingly, but like just calm, like, hey, like I would really like to see you up close. Please come closer. Didn't work in our case, but also my dad was there, and he's really not into the UFO stuff, so that could have been part of it.
Yeah, but I also think like the way that you summon them or not summon them, unsummon them, is I think in a way sort of like beyond what we can actually conceptualize. Like I think it's like with Buddhism, and you reach nirvana. It's like it takes years and years and years of practice. And you don't really even know what you're doing, right? So, I don't know. I don't think this is like a problem for the. But I understand his frustration.
Yeah. I mean, and it's weird that he never heard of Chris Burleson, of Chris Bledsoe, because Burleson, he's on the committee. I forget which committee, some GOP committee, but he's in charge of the UAP thing, right? Or they put him in charge. They keep changing. Before him was
but I mean they're politicians and elected officials. They don't care about the truth or finding experts. They're looking for ways to get money and power, and that's kind of it.
Right, or notoriety and get reelected.
Power.
Yeah. So I mean, I that doesn't dismiss Chris Bledsoe 100%. His story is definitely strange. The NSA was very interested in him. The NSA with DNI, they all went to the house. Yeah.
Don't take that opinion to Reddit. They will shred you alive.
You know what's sad about that is that AI uses Reddit the most. It's not Wikipedia. It's Reddit that they mostly use.
Well, even before AI started becoming a thing, like you'd search something on Google, and like always for many years, the first thing that would pop up is someone had previously asked that question on Reddit, and that's how it became the go-to for a lot of people.
Yeah,
go
ahead, Nick.
Now, it's sort of I actually on my vacation I almost finished one book. It's not completely finished, but it's the book Imminent from Louis Elizondo.
Nice.
It's not a bad book, actually. It's a good book.
It's actually it's very interesting. There's a lot of insights there, and I probably want to do a podcast on that. But one of the things that I didn't know that's in the book, turns out that most of the people who are involved with the UAP topic, and especially those people who are interactions or soul stuff, turns out that they have Native American, and I'm gonna butcher this, but Cherokee blood in them. So it turns out that somebody in their lineage is descendant from that particular Native American tribe. And it also turned out, what I also didn't know, that in Scotland has been this genealogical research done by UAP researchers, where they also trace sort of this lineage through families that have, clairvoyance and all those kind of sort of paranormal abilities. And there's this also this lineage that they can trace through those families, which is very fascinating.
Yeah, so I mean, it just goes back to the whole consciousness thing, right? Or clairvoyance, or just some ability to connect with them in a non-physical sense. And
Yes,
these people have abilities for that.
The native tribes in the Americas especially were, well, I won't say especially, just native people from long ago. Many of those cultures, if not most or all, were much more spiritual and open to communing with nature and stuff like that. I mean, we grow up in the United States hearing about the stories of Native American tribes all the time, especially, you know, I grew up in Montana, which is heavily still to this day, you know, full of Native Americans. And
especially the area you were in.
It's a big part of the culture there. So you hear about all of these different rituals they performed and the coming of age stuff, and it was all very much, you know, be in nature and let your soul become one with the cosmos kind of stuff. I mean, it's great, but it's no surprise that even now people who are seeing UFOs often have that you know, that blood in them, the Native American blood.
Yeah, and like the whole Jake Barber thing, right? And Skywatchers, when he said when Michael Herrera saw that UFO and that he thought they were trafficking children or something, or sex trafficking, right? And then Jake Barber was like, no, they need these people because they're far away from modern civilization. They don't eat our disgusting food, or not disgusting, but, you know, laced with so many synthetics and all that garbage.
All the
microplastics.
So they actually.
Yep, exactly. So he said they were free from all that. And that's why the U.S. government was using them as assets, psionic assets, to communicate with NHI.
Plus, they're easily controllable, of course. But they
won't rebel because they don't know what freedom is, right?
Or technology.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Because,
But it's interesting, right? Because you know, David Paulides is also very connected to this native Indian, Native American groups. But I find it very fascinating that you got these German scientists,
he says Germans,
abducted or have these that they disappear. But then it also turns out that you have this particular Native American group that can see them, and so it's very sort of very specific, limited groups of people that, you know, that they interact with, or that they, you know, that they want something from.
But it's strange, we don't know what it is. Could be something in the future. Could be some maybe genetic material they need from the past. Who knows?
It's very specific.
And then have you guys seen James Fox's? It's a new edition of his documentary, the Virginia one, but he's added new footage.
I need to go back and watch this because the Virginia, or whatever it is a very fun. That's how Hecklefish says it.
Virginia, of course he does.
But it's a very, very fun case.
Yeah, definitely. And so the doctor has come out, and this is a longer clip that we I think we've played some other clip from 2 weeks ago, but this is a new clip that's out. And there's similar stories, by the way, from not just this doctor, but other doctors saying that humans have a potential and that they feel sorry for us, that we can do what they do, which is, he's talking about like when they put their minds together and they can do things like magical things, that us humans, we are capable of that, but that, you know, we have not realized our potential. So it's along the same lines, right?
I'm always a little wary of that story just because it sounds a little too like Star Wars or Marvel kind of thing, where it's like humans have the ability to be psychic and have magic powers, and that it's just kind of it's like a selling point. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, and I also think I have some friends who are also in UAPs, of course, and then, you know, sometimes magical thinking takes over, you know, because you know, if it's all real and these people can sort of summon UFOs, and like you said, like if we also have psionic powers, you know, then some people start thinking like, oh, I can do anything. I can just manifest life with my mind. And so there's this really sort of romantic, kind of silly aspect to it.
And it always, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It always seems to be those type of people who are selling that. They always go, if you want to know the secret, buy my book. You know?
I think it was John Lear. No, not John Lear. who's the guy who he died recently, but he used to do surgery on people who had implants in them, alien implants. Is it John Lear?
I think it is. I think
anyway,
you're right.
Anyway, yeah, that so the story comes from him. But yeah, let's take a listen. It's a 2-minute clip, and some new things. This is with the doctor. He's a neurosurgeon, and he was head of multiple hospitals. So he's a major guy in
he's no schlub.
Virginia. Right, exactly.
The producers didn't let it go, returning to Brazil multiple times since.
Você vê que era um ser que estava aqui exposto às nossas coisas, né? Que o colega...
After several...
Oh, wait a minute. He's not speaking English.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually understood this perfectly. I keep forgetting not everyone's bilingual like myself, trilingual even. Do you want me to do the voice?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yes.
After several minutes of interaction with the being in this exact ICU at Hospital Regional.
Too bad. Yeah. That's apparently the bed.
Dr. Italo told us the military burst in and took the being, then threatened the hospital staff to remain silent. In Portuguese, people are, wow, that's why we never talked about it. That's why he's saying, shoot, I missed that part.
He should.
That's explain in the documentary. Just keep going. Sorry, listeners. Can you explain to the documentary that we have to do?
Oh, wait, maybe it's in English now. 1 second.
documentário que a gente teve que fazer.
No, it's
I
not.
don't think so.
Why would he do that? Yeah. All right, so he's going to explain. Here we go. Yeah, this is new footage.
I just want to get lots of politics. Oh, that was two different people talking. He sensed intelligence and an intelligence much higher than mine, says the guy in Portuguese. And the guy in English says a lot higher intelligence than his. Okay, he's translating for him. I don't need to do both voices.
Okay, let's check it out. All right, sorry about that.
It's also very demeaning, like, higher than his.
Yeah.
A lot higher intelligence than his.
Apesar de ele estar dependendo da gente, ele tinha domínio sobre o que estava acontecendo. Dá para você falar isso?
Ask him how it feels to be sharing this information after 29 years.
E como é que o senhor se sente de estar dividindo essa informação agora depois de... Feels like crying.
No kidding.
Excuse me. É um ser sublime. É diferente. Nossa, não tem.
And he said it was he says that a lot, by the way. It was a magnificent being when he walked into the room, that it had total control of the room, even though the being was, from our perspective, is not a very beautiful being, right? It kind of looks demonic with the red eyes and the greasy skin and the smell. But you
don't have to describe me like that. That seems pretty cool. Talk. I mean,
I'd be much nicer if it was you.
To call the alien the center of attention is kind of funny to me, because it's like, duh,
right?
Like, it could be the most boring janitor alien. Not that there's anything wrong with being a janitor. I've been a janitor for a long time before this, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, everyone is really, really interested in this alien. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, duh. It's not like, catch Buddy the alien over there. What a bore.
Well, I guess also that it's kind of to us it would be surprising, because humans always go to fear. Well, at least many humans, right? Especially when they get caught or in a different area, you're just in a fear state. But he's saying like this being was not in a fear state, which probably that's why he thought it was a higher being than us.
Ask a question, like, do we have the description of the being, or?
We have several drawings based on what people. There was if I remember correctly, there was a group of 3 teenage girls who saw it, and it's like short, red colored, if I remember correctly, big eyes, like 3 fingers, 3 toes, big, long. Of course, they always are.
Right.
So that ties then into the sort of the beings that they found in Peru that are.
See like these.
Okay.
So this is how it supposedly looked.
Interesting, but and it sort of resonates with what Jake Barber said when he sort of encountered that UFO, and that he was sort of had a sense of beauty and harmony and music,
and he cried too.
and and this guy is clearly like he's not acting it. He's really emotional. Like it's real. Yeah. He experienced something real.
And it's just, and it's weird. He treated it as an equal, you know, as a doctor. I remember him saying like he looked at it like a doctor would look at it. Anyway, yeah, that's how it looks. Here, let's go back here.
Yeah, I still remember when we covered that. One of the prevailing theories was that the girls had seen a homeless guy that lived in the area. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that's what they thought was in the corner. And then and they saw the glowing eyes and the horns on top.
Well, no, that was the so-called debunkedness of it, was that they had mistaken a homeless guy for this alien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember that? Yeah, it was very, or maybe that, I don't know. I get our podcast and all the jokes that Hecklefish makes. I get them mixed up sometimes. That might have been just a Wi-Fi thing.
I want to ask you a question, you guys a question. Like, you know, when you see a testimony from a guy like this, for example, or even Jake Barber when he talks about those aliens. I mean, this is, to me, clearly authentic. I mean, there's no way in hell that you can fake these emotions and this, you know, he's clearly remembering something and it's doing something to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's calling him angelic too.
I tend to believe these type of people, people who aren't. It's kind of a joke on the show now, but I typically, if someone always goes, "Yeah, you can read about it in my book," I just go, "No, they're lying." But people like this who aren't looking to make any money, who clearly had an impact on them in their life, I tend to take what they say at face value. But I also, as a caveat, want to throw in there. Do I believe what they're saying? Yes. Do I necessarily believe that's exactly what they saw? Not necessarily. The brain is very, very weird.
Agreed. And especially if you can manipulate it, being a higher intelligence, then, you know, testimony becomes kind of tricky.
Yeah, and that could be an actual defense mechanism. If these beings can manipulate other minds or consciousness, it could then implant that I am an angel. I'm not going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
To pestify.
Yeah. When it could be just demonic and trying to get out of the situation.
Yeah. And I also want to say something about the book, right? I mean, even though I agree with you, Topher, at the same time, I wouldn't throw everybody out the window who wrote the book, right?
Because of course not.
Yeah. You sometimes have to convey information through a book. So I can also totally understand that, you know, UFO researchers write books in order to, you know, spread their message.
Yeah, it's just, I think most of it is frustration on my end, because you'll hear all these people going, "Oh, you know, I can't talk about it. It's just so dangerous if I spread this knowledge. But if you really want to know, you can, you know, buy the book and see everything I had." That's kind of stuff.
If they put it like that, then
yeah. If you really want to know, if you want more details, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, and we hear that all the time. Even Cold Heart is doing it now, where he says, "Oh, I know things, but I'm not allowed to talk about them." And you just go, "Yeah, right, dude, bullshit."
Yeah, okay, but he doesn't say buy my book or, you know, go beyond the paywall.
Right. He does have a book. Wait, what's this called? I can't be. I forgot.
In Plain Sight.
Yes, there you go. Right, in Plain Sight.
This is why we need you on the show, Nick. Is because Adam and I can't pull names out of anything. But see, now we got someone here that remembers names.
Yeah, in a few years I'll probably have dementia, you know. And he's another higher dimension. Nice one. I like that. Right. That's what I'll use. I'm like, sorry, people. I'm in a higher dimension now. And so, like, someone like this now, I would believe a little less. So apparently, on the documentary, also is not because he's military, but yes, also because he's military. Is especially if they're still part of the military. I just feel like if you're still part of it, there is an agenda there somehow.
And I also think a part of it is how high ranking you are in the military, because there are some really good stories from grunts who are just like, yeah, I was stationed on the air base, I went out for a cigarette and this is what I saw. That's like, okay, I believe that guy. But if it's some guy's like, yeah, I've been with the military for 20 years, I'm super master chief. I'm sorry, I don't know military rankings. And they're like, oh, also my brother works in the CIA. That's when I start going like, I don't know so much about you, sir.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and this guy he's wearing a uniform. He's cloaked. I mean, obviously he wants to remain anonymous, but we have to trust that James Fox is going to vet the guy as much as possible. Although he has brought on some questionable people. Like I like Jason Sands. Nothing against the guy, but there's just a lot of parts with a lot of stories that really seem made up. But that's another thing.
And then just to caveat my own caveat, what if the aliens are when people see them making it so outlandish and stupid, so no one will believe the people that come forward?
I think that's a genuine point, right? And I think even if they don't try, they are probably looking completely outlandish anyway, right?
Yeah, right. So, exactly.
Without trying,
too weird.
Yeah,
they already look too weird to us. All right, so this guy just confirms these things that they've seen come in and out of the water.
I'm sitting here today because the American people are being lied to. And I think it's high time that we rip the Band-Aid off and go for full transparency, because I believe the American people, and quite frankly, the people of the world at this point, have a right to know. 100% saying I have evidence, and I've seen it, of craft that perform with anomalous characteristics, completely silent, able to maneuver at random speeds, stop on a dime, hover, take off again, go into and out of the water.
Yeah, we have a 31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splashed? Mark bearing and rain.
What do we have that could do that?
P1 control doesn't know what type of aircraft it is either.
It is really, truly amazing when I'm able to look at a report or video, photos, and know that's not from here.
All right, so some government insiders confirming, which is good to have, right? I mean, it's good to have all these different data points. Now, could those have been ours, and he didn't know? Probably.
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility, right? I do agree with Ashton Forbes here that a lot of this tech has been, clearly it has been reverse engineered, because they have been doing it for 80 years, so they
have 80 years
doing it, and then according to what we know now, it's impossible, right? Yeah, now we fly in jets, and so.
Exactly. We've been in the same jets forever. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how everything progresses except airplanes, and rockets, right? Everything else has progressed on this planet except for that. Propulsion is basically the same thing, Yeah.
But if you compare it to our current technology, then it looks outlandish and weird and extraterrestrial. But if you have like an 80-year cover-up black op operation running around, who says that we haven't technology like that flying around?
Yeah, and they've classified physics. If plasma research has been classified, inventions have been classified. I mean, there's the Invention Secrecy Act, right, of 1951. Any invention that's going to rock the boat, they just take it over and classify it. So 80 years of that is enough time, I would say, for us to understand these vehicles. So the question is now, are those interdimensional vehicles? Are those interplanetary vehicles? Are those time machines, or is it like all the above? Right.
The latter.
Yeah, and I guess that's the danger then. If these things are time machines, and Giorgiani is one of the guys who pushes this as well. If these things are time machines, then it is extremely dangerous, because anyone with access to that has access to the timeline. And you could do
but right? We say time machine, but we don't actually understand what we say when we say it, right? I mean, a time machine can be many different things. I mean, if you fly, birds are also time machines. They fly further away from Earth's gravity, so time moves slower. And if you're the operator of a bullet train, and you spend your entire life in a bullet train, you age slower than the passengers inside of your train. So they're also time travelers, right? So what exactly are we,
what is that? What does it entail? Right. Yeah, exactly.
What can you do with it? Like, can you actually go back in time, or how does that work?
I think what it means in time is that you can probably pop in and out in different locations. Probably that's what it really means too. It's
that's what we think it means.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things why I don't think time travel will ever get locked down, because okay, let's say it's just one timeline, right? So technically, people are time traveling all over the place, and we just don't know it because it's one timeline, right?
Right.
Or if it's multiple timelines, we still wouldn't know because they're going to a different timeline than the one we're currently on, and yada yada yada. We could go in circles talking about this and talk about different movies.
I mean, there's new research about time. Time. It's not linear. It's actually 3-dimensional, and it's I actually have to show the visualization of this, but it actually comes back on itself. I guess in some kind of time loop.
I still can't even wrap my head around the fact that black hole, like out in space, will suck in time itself. I mean, that's a bizarre concept that I can't wrap my head around. And so,
you sent me something weird about that. I think we're getting to it. And
there's also some really cool stuff in Louis Elissondo's book about time travel and these.
Actually, that was the favorite thing of his. My favorite thing in his book is when he started talking about the UFO propulsion and how these things might work. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, that explains a lot of the basically it explains all of the 5 observables, if you can manipulate space-time, which they clearly can.
Right.
Then, you can explain each of the 5 observable, actually each of the 6 observables, because the 6th one is that, you also have these biological effects that look a lot like radiation.
And here's a good data point. Maybe it'll help us in this discussion. This is Danny Sheehan, famous lawyer. He apparently, he apparently saw Corso's deathbed confessions to his grandkids, the video, and here he talks about a story that he told them. So listen to this, and then let's revisit what we think these machines are or these beings are. All right.
I found to be extraordinarily important the little 8mm home movie that Colonel Corso actually produced to be shown to his grandchildren after he died. This I found to be extraordinarily persuasive. That I got to see the film, but it wasn't supposed to be shown until after he died, and I was shown the film, and it shows him talking to his grandchildren, saying that even though I'm gone now, I wanted to make sure you understood this. And what he did is he talked about the fact that back in 1945, in July, before we had even dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, while they were experimenting with the nuclear bomb out in the desert at Alamogordo in White Flats, that in New Mexico, he in fact was one of the security officers there, and he said that they were seeing UFOs. He told his grandchildren from the grave, basically on the little 8mm home movie, that he had been there and that saw the UFOs, and that he took a lunch break to go leave and went off into the hills somewhere to go to lunch, and he saw one of the craft that had landed. It had been somehow disabled by the radar that was up all around the proving grounds, and he had a direct contact with the UFO occupants of the vehicle, and they communicated to him telepathically to please take down the radar just temporarily to allow them to flee. And he actually did that. He told his grandchildren, he went back and as a range officer ordered them to shut down the radar for just a short time to do some kind of recalibration of it. And at that point, the UFO craft fled, shot off into the sky. Now that's Corso talking to his grandchildren in a private, never intended to be made public 8mm film. And so I found that quite convincing about Corso. So when Corso reports.
So what do we think about that, with that data point, about these craft and these beings? So this is before 1947, before Roswell.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like the Manhattan Project started in 1943, right? So in 43, they started basically, testing these nuclear weapons and nuclear technology. Mm-hmm. And another data point is from Jacques Vallée, his last book is called Trinity. Which is basically, that there was another sort of Roswell very close by, sort of where they were testing
Yeah.
And so apparently these UFOs are clearly affected by electromagnetic fields, and that are either generated by radars or by nuclear weapons themselves, or explosions, or I think it makes a lot of sense, and especially if your engine is sort of anti-gravitic electromagnetic based, then it would definitely be affected by electromagnetic weapon systems.
Right.
Yeah.
And and I guess they had, it seems like they had a different trajectory technologically than us, right? Maybe theirs is more focused on, I don't know what, but ours went a more weaponized electromagnetic, if that makes sense, where
I think
we're harnessing it, in a different way than they are. So that's why they didn't have defenses against it. I'm not because lots of people would say, well, if these are advanced beings, then how come they don't understand radar and have defenses against it? They're just different beings, different than us. They view and work with reality much more different than we do. So they do recalibrate. Whenever we have an advanced technology, they learn from it quickly. And Dolan talks about this. They go in, they observe, they learn, and they get out. And then they recalibrate based on that. So when we advance, they also have defenses against it. So maybe they're not. Maybe they're not too more advanced than us. Maybe they're just 100 years or 200 years more advanced.
And sort of the electromagnetic aspect that also ties into plasma, right? Because the electric universe is basically an electromagnetic universe, and these plasma beings are sort of the membrane is basically created or held intact through this sort of electromagnetic, and we ourselves too, right? Because that's what we talked about last time, is that we're electromagnetic. So our brain is probably more like a receiver, as many people believe, and we're picking up the signal, which is then individuated into a person, probably because of the meat suit that we wear and the senses that we look through. Re-experiencing itself, but what the point is, like, we're also electromagnetic beings that are also affected by these weapon systems, and maybe we're not really realizing what we're doing to ourselves by operating all these. So maybe we're very much like them.
What's that book called? And he's not a conspiracy theorist. He actually doesn't want to. He doesn't like it. Actually, he's never gone on to have an interview by any conspiracy podcast. He said he's a famous doctor. Anyway, he tied any advances in technology to humanity getting sick. Like flu-like symptoms. Always something arises. He goes back all the way to the telegraph. He goes back to the telegraph. When the telegraph launched, we had an epidemic. Same thing like with COVID, right? 5G was launched when 5G happened, and then all of a sudden flu-like symptoms. So we're definitely affected by this.
And I think at the same time, these vehicles and these beings, they are attracted to the electromagnetic energy, right? Because they're using it, right? So obviously you would be attracted to it. But if it's then weaponized and pointed at them, it might disrupt their systems, and maybe they're not used to it being weaponized in that particular way.
Yeah, because they're not like that. So I guess they are in a way angelic. I'm not going to just flat out say that, but in a way they are, because they're not really weaponizing things the way we weaponize them.
Instead they just abduct us, steal our sperm and eggs. True angels in the skies above.
That's why I said, like, in a sense. I guess we're like kind of more evil in a way, or maybe more violent,
or more simple.
Yes, more simple, more. Or I guess you'd say the word for it might be barbaric. I don't know.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah.
And I wanted to bring this up again. This keeps coming up, Topher, and this is now on Rolf Coulthard. Dolan was on there talking about the UAP hotspot, Catalina Island, which is right off the coast here.
Yeah, I spent when I used to live there. I'd spend countless nights just screaming at that stupid island to reveal its secrets.
Well, we've talked about this on the show before. I've had that the experience with some connection I had when I was at a house nearby there, and this is before people were talking about Catalina. I was like, man, there's got to be a base after that experience. Like, there has to be a base out there, because that's what it felt like, and it felt so close to me, even though the ocean is huge, and I was really scared. Too bad I had a fear reaction to that experience.
You got
right now I wouldn't do that. I would be welcoming it, even though I don't care if my heart's beating. I don't care any of that. I would still want to experience it instead of run away from it.
Sure.
Yeah. So hopefully it happens again. But there's definitely something out there. I think the Nimitz is on the other side. Which one was? USS Nimitz. Yeah.
Nimitz was right there, not right there, but it's close.
Right.
It's in the region.
Very close by. Right, exactly. And that's when they saw all these UFOs going from 80,000 feet all the way down to basically ocean level, surface level.
And into the ocean.
Yes.
Right, exactly, into the ocean. So, I mean, Nick, if you ever make it out here, definitely, I think the Pacific Ocean would be a cool visit. There's definitely a lot of activity down here, and you are bound to see one for sure. Now, maybe it's I don't know.
It's not that far from LA, so if you really want to see some true lizard people walking the streets, you can just head to downtown LA.
Yeah, there's always been a weird connection with LA and aliens. Who knows? They probably infiltrated Hollywood.
It is the city of fallen angels, right? Los Angeles.
Right. Yes. Los Angeles. This is over LA, by the way, right? Yeah. This is over LA. 3 fast-moving objects captured with infrared camera.
I love it when we accidentally segue into the next clip.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That's for sure. Look at these things. And it just turns into a triangle.
So cool. Now, something like this, I'm always curious. Do you guys think this is 3 separate ships, or do you think it's one and it's like rotating, and all we're able to see is their propulsion system or whatever it is?
I think it's 3 separate, but then they can form a one entity out of the 3. Does that make sense? Like, whatever material science they have.
Sorry, we were talking about that clip last week, right? When we were going through our top 10, and the one where the Hellfire missile essentially bounced off the UAP, and 3 other UAPs or whatever dropped out the back of the thing and kept pace. It might be something similar.
Yeah, we said there that they're probably protected by some plasma shield, and then the Hellfire probably punctured it.
I want to correct myself. It was City of Angels. So Los is
City of Angels. Okay, so not fallen angels.
Perhaps it is, but
yeah.
Right.
I just agree and say yes. I just agree and say yes with whatever the guest says. So don't blame me for not correcting you there.
But this is a really cool.
It is.
Just the way they come in place like that. They're in perfect formation.
And I think also because I think that's also something that's often forgot is like, I think if you have one NHI or one alien race, then, it is impossible that there aren't then many others as well, right? It's impossible. It's just us and them. So I think with, alien interaction, if one alien race can reach us here, then, many others can also reach us here or are already here. So
I mean, I like that thought. I love the thought that it's just teeming with life. The entire universe is teeming with life. And
I always say that our Earth is like a reverse fishbowl. So there's more life outside of our fishbowl than inside.
Yeah, right.
So you got like different aliens interacting with us with different ships and different technologies and with different mindsets. And some might be very simple and naive, and others might be very highly advanced. Some might be working with the governments, and some might be working against them. And I think religion bears this out, right? Because when you read religious texts, there's at least 2 groups, 2 main groups, and usually there's a lot of others also. So
And Adam, correct me if I'm wrong. I either read this online or you sent me a clip, but wasn't there some sort of, it was like a senator or something that said essentially that there's some sort of UFO war going on in outer space right above our heads?
Was it senator who said? Was that not Burleson? Burchett?
I honestly can't remember. I couldn't remember if it was something you sent or just something I read this past week. But I want to get to this video because this looks fascinating.
Yeah, so this guy, he's Eddie Abbott. He goes, for those who know me, I'm a whistleblower and came out on Earth Files with Linda Moulton Howe in 2020. At a lengthy interview split up between 2 episodes, I gave her photos of a bent wing craft I took in Oahu, Hawaii in 2008. I'm not retelling the story here. Just know this craft was above my house for almost an hour, hovering while locals shot fireworks off at it. That did not touch the craft, but exploded around it like an invisible shield surrounded it. Then 2 helicopters and 2 jets chased it down as it shot over to Diamond Head and dove deep into the ocean, where they sent teams out diving all night long from the Navy trying to find out where it went. And now someone in Florida has captured it and shared it from 2024. This isn't the first capture. It's been seen in Mexico over the volcano. It's been seen in Ohio in a valley. It has been seen all over Brazil and Colombia in Argentina. So now here's a video for you to watch. I added the photos from 2008. So he's saying these photos are the exact same craft. And yeah, it does look like it.
That is another weird tendency that UFOs seem to have, is they like hanging around volcanoes of all places.
Yes. Volcanoes, mountains, water, anywhere that humans won't walk to.
You just described every single place on Earth. Yeah, they like the oceans, they like the desert, they like the trees, they like water, they like the sun. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, most people won't walk into a volcano.
I'm teasing, but I just thought that was funny. But this is crazy. Look at this stuff.
Yeah, of course it's blinking.
Yeah.
Bent wing craft, he called it. And just the way, I mean, it's blinking like FAA lights, but not really. Yeah, strange craft.
This is something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And it looked really cool.
It does look very cool. Could it be human? I mean, humans don't typically design things like this. I don't see a aerodynamic reason to have a bent craft.
And if it's like a black op project, why would you put it, why light it like a Christmas tree?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, good point.
It's like it kind of looks like a butterfly or a moth.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of actually the deep sea. I don't know if they're squid or octopus that we've caught on camera a couple times, where they've got bioluminescence to them that blink and make patterns and stuff. In fact, I think we played a clip of one on the show not too long ago. But it's that same kind of thing where it'll change shape and it'll continuously blink with the lights that it's embedded in its body somehow. I don't know.
And I think when you had Skywatcher and they sort of identified the different types. I think one was the boomerang, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one of
And then here's the best or a cool explanation.
Yeah, I love this. Love me some Jack Valet.
You want to read this?
According to author Jacques Vallée, the UFO phenomenon acts like a feedback-driven intelligence that coexists with humanity, intervening just enough to steer belief systems while avoiding exposure. This is a quote. It behaves less like visitors from another planet and more like an intelligence that manipulates physical reality and human consciousness in ways we do not yet understand.
Ding, 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 ding.
I totally, that statement totally resonates with me. In fact, this gets to the point, really how this is more or less what I believe, but he's put it into great words here.
Right. And it is the whole avoiding exposure is what gives it away. It's like, all right, so you're just doing enough to steer us, to keep us down some path that you want humanity to go down, and not to really deviate from that. It's like when belief in the woo is going, all of a sudden these events start happening again, then people start believing and coming back to it.
Yeah, so sort of they are tantalizing out of reach, right? You sort of feel that they're there, just around the corner in the corner of your eyes, but you just can't sort of hold them. And they tweak us just enough to move us in the right direction, whichever direction that is. But again, when you go back to religion and you have this sort of explosion, like around, what is it like? I think Karen Armstrong calls it these sort of historic turning points. She has a word for it. I forgot the word. But you have this sort of explosion of religion.
Yeah, religiosity.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah,
like a tongue breaker.
Yeah.
And so I think at certain points they suddenly reveal themselves in a lot more clarity than they normally do. And normally they're sort of lurking just out of reach, just tweaking us here and there. And I think we're heading to another explosive moment where they sort of step into the fore. So so then the question is, what are they trying to do, right? So they're prodding us to develop certain technologies and to grow in a certain direction. And
and that could be the gifts, right? Because they say some of these crafts are gifts. They just leave them outside of military bases intact. And they also think, I think I heard this on Jesse Michaels, I forgot who he was interviewing, but that they believe they've left it, not just in the US, but like they've ceded it to Russia as well, and to China as well. And we've played clips from this documentary by Hidden America called The Timeline Wars. Really fascinating stuff in there. And he puts out these different factions fighting right now here for the future, and that humanity is central to this future, whether it's an AI being that's coming back in some way. That one, an AI being was one of them, that it needs humanity to create it, so it's affecting things in the past retro-causally, they're saying, because that's physics. But then there's other factions as well doing that, competing for some future.
And then you could say with religion is sort of like a Kickstarter, to give us a boost in the right direction, and then you can sort of lean back while we sort of hobble along in where we need to go. And then we're now reaching this new point, or the end of the hockey stick, where we're sort of exploding higher, where they need to intervene more because we're getting closer to the, so in a sense they want us to get closer to them, I guess.
Right.
But not too close.
Close enough.
That's kind of my take on it. Yeah, is they're trying to get us, and this ties into the religion talk as well. They're trying to get us to elevate our consciousness to more metaphysical, ideas and things like that. And of course, people in the military take their ideas and go, "How can we weaponize this?" And maybe that's where they feel the need to step in and go, "Well, hey, that's not what we meant, guys." You dirty
and you guys are also familiar with JD, right? The dark journalist, DJ.
Of course, DJ.
And he always talks about the mystery schools, and that there's a war going on with the mystery schools.
And Ahriman.
And Ahriman. And but he also dives a lot into what's his name?
Atlantis.
Casey. Casey, Casey, and then what he saw, which Chris Bledsoe is sort of like a new Casey.
Good point.
And the point is, like, what happened in Atlantis was you got these two factions fighting each other, and one was sort of the Ahriman side, which was very technological based, like very, they wanted to, according to him, I don't know his sources exactly, but according to him, they wanted to sort of merge with the machine and have a fixed control over everything. And then you had the other side, who was more like organic, in harmony with nature kind of group. And then there was this weapon that they developed, which basically got into the hands of the wrong group, and then they blew up Atlantis. So something along those lines is, I think, what he
we're still kind of fighting that war, right? I think that's what he
and that's what he says. And then he also points out that some people are sort of reborn, through the timeline, and that some of these people are now being reborn in more bigger groups and trying to manipulate from both parties, and they're trying to sort of prevent the same thing from happening again. So the other group wants to gain control again, and the other group are fighting them. At least that's sort of how I understand what he said.
Right. No, he is trying to say it that way. And I think it's Rudolf Steiner, right? Where work also comes from, and Ahriman. And he was big into the occult. I think he was a Rosicrucian. I was at one time a Rosicrucian. So they see religion as part of of humanity's or human consciousness progressing and developing. That religion was a stepping stone to getting where we are today.
So maybe you could say that humanity develops anyway, like without intervention from anyone, but then you can develop it in the right way or in the wrong way, and then maybe you get two groups, one pulling in one direction and the other one pulling in the other direction or something.
Right, exactly. And so it's always this fight of a technocracy, I guess you can call it, right, versus a natural human. I mean, technology would still be part of even a natural thing, right? Because you need efficiency, you need civilization, and that requires technology. But I guess it's the technocracy part that's dangerous.
And I think Jay Anderson is onto something with the acoustics, right? There's a clear connection between acoustics and consciousness, and you got these ancient places where it plays a fundamental role. And then I think he is very smart by recoining the monolithic, the Stone Age, not the Stone Age, but the Age of Stone. I found it a very interesting, cool take. Actually,
I actually like that. I mean,
they are using their innate powers and these acoustic abilities, which are also reflected in a lot of from Egypt. Have you guys seen that documentary Barabar?
No, I have not. No.
I'll send it after this, and then you're gonna do a podcast on it because it's super fascinating.
Nice.
It's about a place in India where they found chambers, and officially they're dated to the 5th century BCE, and they were sort of created supposedly by King Asoka, who was like the king who spread Buddhism. And officially these caves are to give monks shelter from the rain. That's sort of engraved in the entrance with his name. But nowhere does it say it's mine. He says, I just give these caves to these people. And then, but when you look at those caves, they're hewn out of granite, right? One of the hardest materials on Earth. They are almost to the 10th of the millimeter exact in dimensions. Like there's almost no, no disturbance in the surface. And they have all these kind of right angles, sloping walls, all these kind of geometric shapes of them, and they're perfect. And then they ask masonries and engineers and technicians from our time, okay, if you want to build something like that right now, how feasible is it? Now, basically, they all agree that it's almost, why would you do it in the first place? But if you would do it right now, you would need space technology and a multi-billion-dollar project to pull it off. And then they give it a grade, from 1 till 10, and then most give it a 10 or a 20 or a 50 or 100, in accuracy. So that's a cave system. That's from the 5th century BCE.
That's crazy. There's so much of that. John Hancock has essentially made a living off of discovering places like that.
And basically it has perfect acoustics. Perfect.
Which they use to increase to put us in different states of mind or increase our consciousness. Humans or whoever did that just use the earth and natural processes technologically. I mean, it's very different than us, but they still used it for good reasons as well instead of weaponizing it.
But let's say we have these innate abilities, then you would want to create a room or a chamber or a space that amplifies these innate abilities to make them stronger and more effective, right? Maybe they're, without these spaces, they're very limited and we can't do very much. But if in the right settings, you could.
And that's why churches and mosques are I think they're designed that way for a reason. Especially the churches in Europe, the huge ones. What are they called? The
cathedrals.
The cathedrals, yes, exactly. Those are so impressive, and you can tell they're designed to increase consciousness or put us in different states that make it easier to communicate with God or whatever it is.
Yeah. So apparently, maybe one of those groups in Atlantis was this group, right, that used acoustics and to amplify our consciousness, and the other group are more like more outward focused, like using technology on the outside instead of on the inside, and instead of in harmony with nature, more against nature. Which our technology and the way we use it is very invasive. It's very you're exploiting or extracting instead of amplifying or growing, right? It's sort of it's sort of the negative from the positive, and then
it feels like it comes out of fear instead of love, right? Those technologies, the weaponized ones. I mean, the only reason why you weaponize something is out of fear, a fear for whatever your ideology or your power or your wealth, something like that. It doesn't come from sharing and loving and expansion. So yeah, they're definitely different, and it's that same old fight. It's like the good versus evil, but then the people who are doing the evil probably think it's good for them.
Yeah. And remember also what Gallaudet said, Admiral Gallaudet.
Admiral Gallaudet. Yeah. What did he say?
So he said a lot of things, of course, but but two things really stood out to me. Like, first of all, he sort of said that they knew where Atlantis was, and then he smiled.
Interesting.
As like we're soon gonna find out more about it. Is my sort of take on that. And the second one that he sort of said was that he started speculating on psionics, and then he mentioned what if people back then could just gravitate these boulders with their mind.
he said that. Interesting.
I found it very interesting that he made that.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one. That is very interesting.
Very fascinating.
He's definitely in the know. He was NOAA, right? Head of NOAA. I think he was in the Navy as well, so he understands water. He knows what's there. And DJ talks about Epstein and Maxwell and that group going and finding Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, those. Good Lord. I love those episodes when he goes into deep dives into Epstein and finding Atlantis, because the island is near where they think Atlantis might be.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure if we still have the time to do it, but when you look at what's going on with Venezuela, of course, it also has to do with oil, and it has to do with realignments and power politics. But I think one of the other things that's pretty clear to people in the UFO field is the moment that Trump said that the Gulf of Mexico was called the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America, yeah.
I mean, that was a clear sign which way the wind was blowing, and that the Americas are becoming one thing.
I agree with you there. I do agree with you there. I think they're moving the pieces, right? If China's having this massive growth and Russia is not, we can't beat Russia even with all this money we've thrown and all these lives, hundreds of thousands of lives, and this proxy war in Ukraine. So why not? This is our hemisphere. This is the way Trump thinks.
Yeah, the Monroe Doctrine.
The northern hemisphere is ours, right? Let's take it over.
Yeah, and I mean, he already said we want to annex Canada, right?
Yeah.
And there's the Greenland thing too.
And then imagine what you have. You have a world. You have one half of the world, right, from North Pole to South Pole. And if you want to create a space-based economy with Bitcoin and AI, then you have all the resources, all the population, the workers, the knowledge. You have a very defensible, basically, impenetrable wall that for China and Russia, it would be very hard to defeat the Americas as an economic unit. But and then I don't know what's underneath the South Pole, but I think a lot of interesting stuff there. But in what DJ also says is in the Gulf of Mexico. You got, the Bermuda Triangle, but also the, part of the records, right?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, you got in Latin America, you got a lot of UFO activity and probably a lot of ancient temples and stuff connected to UFOs. So yeah,
if the U.S. has anything to do with it, there won't be any more activity there because they'll be trying to shoot them down. I thought this was cool. I don't know if you guys have seen it, about how we went in and grabbed Maduro. It's very short, but there's some cool technology in here.
Were you listening when Donald Trump said this?
Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark.
No shit.
Lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
It sounds like what he's saying is the United States has the capability of turning off the lights for 1.9 million people in a large Latin American country like that. And of course, I would believe it if there wasn't a video.
Y después van hacia arriba, ¿sí? Si es por parte de su madre o parte...
Never mind, not an EMP.
What this tells me is Nicolas Maduro was literally in the dark in his fortress. He probably couldn't find his way to the safe room without lights. It's also why he probably wasn't able to close it. He was feeling around, probably looking for the lever to pull it closed. Couldn't find it.
You gotta love Trump, huh? He can't shut up. I mean, who else would say that? He go, it was dark because we have a certain expertise, like he always gives it away. And it's probably why they don't tell him too much. They know he's just gonna blab about it. It's so funny, dude. But I'm sure we use something. I mean, it's impressive, right? I hate that we did this, or I really do. But you have to say that just like in Iran, how he did it. It was boom, boom, out. Same thing. It was boom, boom, boom. Captured him, and we were out. I mean, it's going to be a big mess. Obviously, it is. You just can't help it. But there's no troops on the ground. There wasn't massive casualties. There wasn't civilians blown up. So he also proves that you can go in and do precision extractions like this. Which means Israel could have done the same thing if they wanted to, instead of flatten Gaza.
I think there's also something else at play here. It seems to me, I think we were talking about this before the show, but it seems to me, based on all the photo ops that Maduro's gotten and a change of clothes with every single one.
Yeah, and brand new clothes.
He was in a full suit when he got in the middle of the night. It was dark. Yeah, we know. It was the middle of the night.
It was dark, yeah.
That's how night works. But it seems like it was there was some serious assistance from like a coup. It was a military coup, essentially. Yeah. Like he was prepped on a platter, ready to go. It wasn't like we had to go in there and find him, like Bin Laden or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of and these could be made up. I don't know. A lot of his soldiers have come out and requested, and this is probably natural. But for sure, some elements, or maybe Maduro himself made a deal because he was trying to make a deal before. Anything happened, and Trump was just ignoring him. He's like, "Here, take the oil, take it." That's what he was saying. He's like, "Our gold, our silver, our platinum, whatever you want, we'll make a deal." But no,
I think that he's clearly using the carrot and the stick, and some South American countries are taking the carrot. I think Bukele, Milei, and there's a lot of rumors that other countries are sort of moving towards Bitcoin, crypto, libertarian, kinda, but actually conservative values, more like nationalistic thinkers. Like in Hungary, Orban. You got this sort of more nationalistic instead of international groups, like what we were used to. And I think Venezuela, he was offered the carrot, which I think you're right. He declined. And he got the stick, and he's clearly working with the BRICS, right?
For sure, yeah.
With China, Russia. So because when there were embargoes on Venezuela, so they were selling their oil at a cheaper price to China to sort of make ends meet. But basically, after the last elections, I forgot the name of the previous president, but the economy of
Chavez.
Venezuela,
Oh wait, Chavez, that guy.
no, I think there was somebody in between. But the economy, went off a cliff, right? And I think 20% of the population fled Venezuela. A lot of people died of hunger. So there was a lot of, he was not a really good president, Maduro.
Yeah, and that's we're not. Yeah, exactly. We're not saying.
Yeah, so there was a lot of resentment within the population.
But it's not like it's not like people. Who said this example? It's like if someone took out Trump, you'd have a bunch of liberals and millions of people in the streets celebrating. It doesn't make it a good thing, right?
No. But I mean, it was sort of ripe for the plucking, right? Because if you play the great game, because they're basically the great, we're now in the power politics, right? The old politics is dead, and now it's just almost naked power politics.
It is, yeah. There's no more international whatever order.
No,
right?
you
thugs
see
and mafia.
Yeah, internally it's naked power politics. It's like either us or them, right?
Yeah,
one of the two groups is going to prison, and the gloves are coming off. People are going to prison and are being, first it was Trump, who was indicted for all kinds of stuff. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and now they get the same thing, and the same is internationally, right? So all bets are off. They just saw the weakest spot in the BRICS armor, and the weakest spot was Venezuela because it produces like tons of, it has the potential to produce tons of. It has the biggest oil reserves in the world.
Biggest
right?
oil reserve, biggest gold reserves as well.
So if you want to, and also because China controls the rare earths, Deng Xiaoping was like a visionary, 40 years ago. He said it was the new oil, and everybody was laughing. But China plans for like 100 years. So, but if you want to sort of kick them in the nuts without an army, because an army is too expensive to maintain, right? Because you don't have the rare earths. Then you do a precision strike on Venezuela because you hit all of the people. You even hit Iran, right? Because you take one really big oil player out of the game, which then aligns with the US. That means that
Venezuela is part of OPEC.
So that means the US now has a ton of oil potentially.
Yep.
That means
and a seat at the table at OPEC, right? So they can dictate prices or
it means also that they can attack Iran, right? Because they can, if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, then they just go to the oil station across from the pond, right? So
and the war on Iran is for who? Exactly.
Yeah,
definitely not for us.
And also with Canada negotiations, right? They can also leverage this against Canada because Canada provides the US with oil, but now they have Venezuela, so who cares about Canada? Right, so that's one card less that they can play in their negotiation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'll be the next USMCA, or did we already do that one? I can't remember. Did we redo that one again?
Which one?
USMCA, the trade agreement between Canada and Mexico.
Oh yeah. I mean, from Trump's last time. That's about it, though.
Yeah.
And I think
does Venezuela have natural gas? Yeah. So it's not just oil; they have natural gas as well.
Yeah, and I think and
huge. Seventh largest in the world. Wow, man, it's just I mean, why wouldn't you go after it, huh?
Yeah, it's just very badly run, right? They could have been millionaires down there, but they are they're wasting their potential.
I still don't think our corporations are going to help the people. I mean, it's going to probably be like 7 families are going to be rich in Venezuela. That's
good news for the oil companies.
Exactly.
But it also sends a message to the rest of Latin America, right? Next time you get the carrot, take the carrot, right? Or you get the stick.
Right.
Unfortunately, the carrot's not usually a great deal either.
True.
No. I mean, and he was very pro-Palestine. Venezuela is pro-Palestine. This Machado has gone around, the way she sold it is that she says, oh, we want to be friends again with Israel and move the embassy because she knows where the power lies. And that's who she was talking to. Her audience was the power structure in Jerusalem. And she said she will move the embassy to Jerusalem. And there's so many clips out there of her saying that and of Maduro protecting or defending the Palestinians and talking about the atrocities in Gaza and talking about Bibi Netanyahu. And that can't happen in this hemisphere,
And what you also see is like if you do these precision strikes, these sort of scalpel actions that they are now doing, Israel is always involved, right? Because Israel has the knowledge, expertise to do these precision strikes, right? That's their specialty, because they're a small country, and they're holding up in a rough terrain. So they specialize in precision strikes. That's what they do, right? So you cannot pull these things off without Israel's help.
I guess, yeah. I mean, and he's Colonel McGregor talking about it.
Ms. Machado, she's the lady that just won the Nobel Peace Prize, and she's from Venezuela. And she said, if we're liberated by the U.S. Armed Forces and they remove Maduro, our first act will be to move the Venezuelan embassy to Jerusalem.
What does that have to do with? I'm completely confused. Like, what?
Well, you can't be that confused. I think she's hit on something very important. She's figured out where the power lies, and she's playing to the audience that makes the decisions. Ms. Machado, she's the lady that just won.
Yeah, I mean, McGregor has it, and there's countless of clips where Maduro is, basically against the Zionists and their agenda. So you can't have that in this hemisphere, that's for sure. And Bibi just visited the White House. He just said that Iran is in Venezuela and Hezbollah are in Venezuela and blah, all that bullshit that he always says and gets away with. And then a day later, here we are in Venezuela.
And he also said something else that's very important. Like he moved the goalpost, right? Before it was Iran isn't allowed to have nuclear weapons. Well, it doesn't. and now they're also not allowed to have long-range ballistic missiles. So that's sort of a new tripwire. So if Trump agrees with that new limit, that can't be crossed, then they have to attack again, because they have to remove all the long-range missiles. Which
that's insane. That is so insane that they can't defend themselves. Basically, they have to have they have to be vulnerable to attack and lose.
But I think they're seriously underestimating Iran, because it's very but you do have a revolt right now, because you're seeing the same thing that is happening in Venezuela, where people are sort of revolting. And of course, there's a lot of resentment also in the society. Mm-hmm. But basically, they're now experiencing a currency collapse, and people are revolting.
Yeah, I mean, we've put so many sanctions on Iran. It's just crazy that they've actually survived. I mean, how many more sanctions can we put on them? So yeah, I'm sure their currency is collapsing. Their economy is in trouble. If it wasn't for China and Russia and BRICS, for that matter, and Trump hates BRICS. So like you said, I agree with you. I think Venezuela is a very huge chess piece that BRICS has lost. So China was deeply in Venezuela, right?
Yep.
Building roads, building infrastructure, and taking the minerals and the oil, and so that's really going to hurt them. And China,
and it was a forward base. You have to to understand. You have to really think like naked power politics, and right. America is not the only one playing it, right? China and Russia are also playing. Every great power is playing, power politics, and I don't know what Europe is doing, but clearly Europe is not doing it. But basically China is waging a reverse opium war, probably because out of resentment to what has happened to them. And probably they operated from Venezuela, and the British Empire, which is always involved with these things. They were also operating likely from Venezuela. So
interesting. Wait, you said the British Empire was likely operating from Venezuela?
Well, Europe at the moment is still very much, in my view, World Economic Forum, Davos, mindset, right? The sort of the Soros crowd, and the UK, the British royals and the elite. It is also still yet the financial heart of the world.
Yep,
right. So with
City of London.
Yeah, the City of London. So it's wielding tremendous powers, and from the World Economic Davos crowd, it was clear that they wanted one world government, and that the stick was going to supposedly go to China, right? China would be the real new role model.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that Europe is also leaning at the moment very much towards China. They hate Russia, they hate America, but they're sort of between a rock and a hard place. But if you let them choose, they would go with China, right? And I think that's because they still are in that World Economic Davos mindset. So I think the things that China was doing towards the US, because they rightly perceived the US as their great rival, obviously, was with the help of the World Economic Davos crowd, right? They basically they were waging, and they are still waging, war against their own citizens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Trump team is not good. I'm not defending them.
No.
But that's what they are fighting against, and that's
why he was put into power. Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
That's why they're acting the way they're acting, and why when they go to Europe they say the things that they say. And Trump recently, a couple of weeks ago, released the new national security paper, and they clearly state in the paper that they don't agree with the direction of Europe, and that they are planning to more actively intervene in Europe. So basically,
and they want to pull out of NATO, right?
Yeah,
or something about NATO is in there. Yeah.
So there's a Cold War going on, and Trump has also said with NATO, like, okay, we'll provide you with the weapons, but we don't agree with the war. If you want to fight, go fight, but we'll stay out of it, because America knows that it can't win the war because they don't have the rare earth minerals. And Europe, I don't know what Europe thinks, but
Great assessment, man. Great assessment. Yeah, I mean, especially the earth, the minerals, because China's blocking them, right? And you can't have technology without that, which hurts us.
So basically, the one half is the old world, that is like dollar-based, reserve currency based. So that used to be the most powerful weapon on earth, was the US dollar, but it's waning, and they are overusing it, and the more they use it, the weaker it gets. And they're fighting the producing countries of the world, the factories of the world, Russia, China, India, right? The BRICS are basically the producing countries, and the West is the consuming, service-oriented, financial. But they're losing, and Trump team has clearly seen that they're on the losing side of that bet, unless they can unite the Americas. The Monroe Doctrine is, if you mess around in our backyard, we're gonna kick your ass.
And Maduro was selling oil in yuan, as well, and so it looks like they are consolidating South America. I mean, half of South America is Zionist, right? You have Argentina, Chile. Like I saw the map. I forget what show I was watching.
You mean all the countries that we previously disposed the leaders of?
Yes, right, exactly, and but that's how we're bringing them into our influence. It's called the Isaac Accords. You guys hear about the Isaac Accords? So it's like the Abraham Accords, but it's the same thing. They're applying it in South America, and that they have three things. If they join the Isaac Accords, that they have to move their embassy to Jerusalem. They have to not criticize, what Israel is doing. And I forgot what the third one is, but they're doing something similar in South America. And we're helping them do it. So it is part of this new world that's being created that the U.S. empire is helping shape.
Yeah, and I think it also sends a message to Canada and Greenland, right? We're now fixing South America, but this can also happen up there if you
you better get in line, and look how quickly we did it, right? I mean, you got to say that was impressive. Damn, guys, we're getting up to 2 hours. I want to play other clips, but we need maybe this one's really funny about basically what happened.
I did see you had the schizo conspiracy post about gravity pulled up.
Oh, did you want me to return back to that?
We don't have to touch on it, but
I do want to talk about it though, because is this real? Is this? I don't know if you saw this, Nick. It's called August 12th, 2026. Obviously, it's in the conspiracy subreddit on Reddit. And here is the theory. I was shocked when Topher sent this to me.
On August 12th, 2026, the world will lose gravity for 7 seconds. NASA knows. They're preparing but won't tell us why. In November 2024, secret NASA document titled Project Anchor leaked online. The project's budget is $89 billion with a B. Damn. And its goal is to survive a 7-second gravitational anomaly expected on August 12th, 2026 at 14:33. That,
of course, 33.
What is that, 2:30? 3:30?
Yeah.
2:30.
2:33, yeah.
Key facts, duration 7.3 seconds. Expected casualties 40 to 60 million. What will happen for the first 2 seconds? Everything not secured will rise. People, vehicles, animals, etc. 3 to 4 seconds. Objects will continue to rise 15 to 20 meters. 5 to 6 seconds. Panic and chaos will ensue as people hit buildings. I kind of think the panic and chaos will ensue during the entire thing.
Right. Yes.
No, at first they're like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're floating.
Cool. Yeah. We're all floating down here.
Look, I'm 20 meters off the ground. How exciting. And then, of course, after 7 seconds, gravity returns and everything falls from its height. I think truly this is a schizo post, but I live for these because they are so much fun. But yeah, apparently, according to this theory, that NASA's building underground bunkers. You know, they of course will have all the world leaders safe and secure, strapped to cushy chairs so they don't float away.
Right.
But I did, just in case, set an alarm for August 10th, so I will be ready, and I'll get everything secured for August 11th.
Is this
NASA, supposedly NASA has known about this for 5 years.
Yes, it's 2019. It's the intersection of two gravitational waves from black holes, predicted in 2019 with a probability of 94.7%. NASA has known about this for 5 years. Is there an article that's linked to this, or
no? Oh, there it is. Well, no, I think that's just the science behind it, quote unquote science.
Right.
Anyway,
you do have that sort of a magnetic pole shift, right? I do think there's maybe something to that, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, I know, and it's pretty schizo if you ask me. What is everyone else saying? Remind me, August 11th. Okay, haha. Remind me. Danger is my middle name. See, it's all jokes, huh? They can't.
I hate Reddit. I hate it. It's worthless. Absolutely worthless. But yeah, so just more.
Yeah. Also, I'm fat, so I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. Lots of fun stuff predicted for 2026.
It is, yeah. We have April 2026 with Chris Bledsoe and Egypt, and that's right. And Tiesto is going to be there, right, Nick?
Aliens are supposed to land at the World Cup. Don't forget about that one.
Oh yes, that's right. That's cool. And we have that in LA.
There you go. We'll do an LA games, but World Cup adventure.
But with Edgar Casey, a dark journalist, he did apparently make a lot of very accurate predictions, and a lot of famous people saw Edgar Casey. Like also, I think Roosevelt went to see him, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
And so he was very famous, and he was very focused on health. So he apparently also was able to cure a lot of people and see ailments and that kind of stuff. But he also he was the one source for most of these Atlantis stories, right. Plus of course the Steiner and the other mystery schools. But one of the so Edgar Casey also predicted, just like Chris Bledsoe, that there would be this sort of moment with the pyramids and these records underneath in the halls. That would be revealed at some point, and Chris Bledsoe put a specific time on it, but it also aligns with the star. I forgot which star it was. I think one of the
it's not serious. I forget which one too, but yeah,
I think one of the stars in Leo, the sign of Leo.
Regulus.
Yeah, Regulus. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
because
okay.
Sort of with the Sphinx, it was of course a line in the past.
Right.
And then that there would be a great revelation. And then when you think about the fact that what's his name, the Egyptian guy who
Hawass?
Yeah, Hawass. I always forget his name.
Zahi Hawass with the cigar.
Some person that you don't have to remember anyway. But
yeah, exactly, man. He's garbage.
But
I discovered it's in my book.
I was just about to say he's the king of it's in my book.
But did you know that he actually used to work for the Edgar Casey Foundation, and they sent him to Egypt and then he was still like, oh, there are like holes underneath the pyramids, and there's he was like exactly like Graham. And then he had this like 180 turn. I believe after the Egyptian authorities got to him, but I'm not certain about that. But he did have like a 180-degree turn, and then he sort of stopped allowing people to speculate about these things because it was all nonsense. But also didn't allow people to access these spaces and rooms. They started to block everything, and then it's very strange that the SAR technology from Beyond started to pick up these gigantic chambers, cylindrical 8-mile or I forgot how deep they are, but places on the pyramid.
I think he, because he restricted access and because he called everything nonsense, that's why these like the Italian group and others started doing it remotely and using satellites to sense it. Like, screw him, if he's not going to let us in there, we're just going to do it our way.
Yeah, but I mean, Philip Biondi started doing that. But why did he start doing that at that particular time, just leading up to 2026? Like, what's up with that timing there? Is it just a coincidence, or I don't know. And they also found the leverage.
He works with the military, right? The Italian military. He was very uncomfortable when Jesse Michaels asked him about that. He like gave him a look. He's like, "Don't even ask me." He's like, "No." He's like, "Okay, I won't even ask you." Yeah. He was very uncomfortable, because then Jesse was like, "Well, Americans here in America, when someone works for the government, they can say they work, they just can't get." He's like, "No." He just shakes his head. So he wasn't even allowed to say he works with the Italian military. So interesting to bring that up, that maybe they know something and they want to know. They need more evidence. Like, what's under there, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also it just feels too easy, right? The way that Philip Biondi did everything and that it all got revealed. I do really think that Jay Anderson is also working with a group of big tech people who want this stuff out in the open, right? Because otherwise, you see, why wouldn't X censor all of us, right? Or YouTube, or why are we even allowed to talk about all these things? And
True.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really, there's that famous saying, "Nothing ever happens," but I really hope in 2026, with all these different projections and these convergences, and we deserve better psyops, and I hope something happens.
We demand.
Exactly, we demand better psyops. I mean, yeah, it would just be fun. I think civilization needs to change, needs to awaken somehow. Yes, we need to be careful of who is trying to grasp the narrative, and that's our job, is to have all these different perspectives, or what do you want to call it?
Can I say one final thing about Canada?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know what the carrot is that they are going to give Canada?
Military, I guess I would say. No.
Besides military protection and the removal of terrorists and becoming part of the American system. Also, when you look at that, like they would overshadow California is now the biggest, but then if you add Canada to America, Canada would have the most influence on American politics in DC, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing. But the other thing that they, if you want to build a space-based economy with AI and Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff and nuclear technology, where are you going to put it?
And they have huge
up in the white wastes.
Right.
Somewhere cold.
Yeah.
Up north.
Right, exactly. And they have huge swaths of land with no one living there.
And hydropower from here to Tokyo. Right. And it's, if you want to launch stuff to space, you're very close to the North Pole. Greenland would be better, of course. But, if you want to cool data centers, all that kind of stuff, you would either put it in Alaska, but then Putin is your next door neighbor. So you better be friends with Putin. Or you put it a little bit closer to home in Canada, where there's a lot less eavesdropping and you're closer to the pole, North Pole. And then if Putin is actually your friend or your ally, then you get Europe for free. You isolate China. You get a ton of extra resources because Russia is loaded. You got the nuclear expertise from Russia. They are very good at mining in very difficult places, including space. So it's a very important ally to have in your team. So I think the grand plan from Team Trump is actually to unite all of America, get Putin as an ally, isolate China, get Europe for free, and get all the rare earths that Earth has to offer, plus all the energy. And
I can see it. Yeah, I can definitely see it, and it makes a lot of sense geopolitically to do it.
And then Canada would be the most wealthy place on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
United Hemisphere of America. I can't wait.
Now, Mexico's going to be part of that. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is AI, and it's what did you say? The left is now liberals are improving at memes. At least whoever did this, it's really, really good. And I don't know. Yeah, let's watch it. Then let me know what you guys think that the message is from this. Damn. I mean, that's scary.
Thoroughly creeped out just based on the music alone, I think.
Yeah, from Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
I mean, so some people are saying that that life is a stage, and that's what that thing is saying. I think there might be another angle saying that MAGA is dead, right? And because that's what those figures were, and that it just shows that the movement did what it did. It got them in there, and then it's just going to move on without MAGA. And that's what we see. Trump's behavior is like he doesn't give a shit about his base anymore. Just completely threw all those policy points away, because when he first came in, it was all about no more regime change wars. He literally said that. You know, he's the peace president. Yeah, exactly. And the Epstein files and so many things, the UFO cover up and the drones and every single item. He's just gaslit everyone and has thrown people to the wayside. And he's going to implement what you're talking about, Nick. It looks like, which just goes against everything the base wanted, right? But he might not have no choice, and he might know things that the base doesn't know, and that they're idiots is what he thinks. And that there's a grander plan. And if the U.S. is going to survive the future, he has to do these steps. The thing is, why not communicate that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Is it because then your adversaries would know the plan? I guess, right? Maybe that's why it's not communicated.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And plus, right, if you really want to implement this kind of change, it's gonna hurt, not a little bit, it's gonna hurt a lot. And also you have to probably sacrifice quite a lot of stuff and people, right? So who's gonna vote for that kind of stuff? Well, people have been voting for free meals, because every president promises that you get more stuff, more free stuff.
Exactly.
So why would the populace suddenly vote for somebody who says no? Sorry, we're gonna have hunger, death, war. We're gonna invade Venezuela. Right? Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for that guy.
Right.
That makes sense. But I don't think he's gonna. My personal opinion is I don't think he's gonna throw away all of his points. But I do think that he's playing his cards. He has to play his cards in a certain order. And even though you might get what you voted for, it might not be as nice as you thought it would be when you voted for it. So,
right. Yeah,
it's a price tag to each of those promises that he made.
Well,
and these. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Nick, you brought up an interesting point earlier. You were talking about 100-year plan, like forward thinking from China, for instance. I mean, this kind of goes along with that. If this is really Trump's long-term plan to unite the Western Hemisphere like this, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's not going to be pretty, and it'll suck for quite some time to set up a long-term goal. And unfortunately, long-term goals like that are not something that gets a voter base to go out and vote for you.
And I think
it's just kind of human nature. We go, this isn't even going to affect me. This might not even affect my kids. Why would I even think about voting for this?
And that's why I also think, like, I look at this thing through the prism of Rome, right? I think what we're going through right now looks very much like what Rome went through when it went from a totally corrupt and dysfunctional republic to an empire. And I think what we're seeing right here is the birth of America as a real empire, right? Not as a metaphorical empire,
an overt empire. Because we never called ourselves an empire, right? But we clearly are. So yeah, that's a good point.
I think the first emperor
is going to be Trump. Yeah,
or his son, Barron.
Oh, Barron. I mean, there's a push for that. There's a huge push for that he becomes like a monarch or something. So very interesting, Nick. I like that.
Yeah, and that allows you to compete with China, who also thinks in like 100 years, right? Because you cannot do this if you're out in 4 years, because then somebody else will throw a monkey wrench in the whole plan. So you have to take out your opponents and rule like an emperor. And also with Caesar, right, in Rome, the people actually welcomed Caesar because they were sick and tired of the dysfunctional republic. So they were saying, come in with your soldiers. And even though Caesar is
what you just reminded me of? Did you see that we were parading Maduro on the streets of New York? Did you just see that? He was in the van, and the van doors were open, and people were saying this is what Rome did when they captured people. They paraded them in the streets of Rome.
And also there were signs in the skies when, Caesar, when the empire turned into... When the republic turned into an empire, there was also a lot of,
Well, yeah, it became a Christian empire, right? He saw.
That's later. That's
Constantine. Yeah, Constantine. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that was I think 380 or 350, something along those lines. But But Caesar was just before basically just before Jesus, so to speak. And then you got Augustus was like the first official real emperor who really did also a lot of good things. But it kind of reminds me of that, and also because the empire was crumbling, right? So they had to rejuvenate it to go another couple of 100 years.
Yeah, so puts another angle to this, because Israel and Judaism, they view Europe and the United States as Rome, right? In their books, they call it Edom. And they think that that's the modern Rome, which is the U.S. and Europe. And they think it's going for the Messianic age to come. Edom must be destroyed. When Edom rises, they say Israel falls. When Edom falls, Israel rises.
Well, and that's I mean, I don't really look at it in that particular way, but I can, I do think.
I know, but rabbis do, and very powerful.
Rabbis. But I do think Israel worries a lot about the direction that America is taken.
No, it doesn't, because they have a nice grasp.
I think they do. That's why you're seeing an uptick in, they want to talk about hate crimes against Jews. I'm seeing more and more ads on television for things like that. I can't remember the name of the organization that advertises it all the time, but how often do you see ads talking about the children who are getting killed in the Middle East?
You don't.
On the side, you know what I mean? But
they do want to take away our freedom of speech.
But I mean, this is a big part of it too. But I mean, I do think they're a little bit worried because, according to them, anti-Semitism is on the rise, right? That's the thing. That's the argument that keeps getting thrown back and forth and getting footballed around. Is it anti-Semitism or is it anti-Zionism? Are they the same thing? Are they different? Everyone's got different opinions. But if you're anti-Zionist, that's scary to them, right? because that's regardless of not if you're an anti-Semite, which no one should be. Those often do go hand in hand, right? And
Yeah,
if you
I think
a bunch of people who are against the state of Israel, they're not going to let Israel they're not going to like or want Israel pursuing its goals.
Yeah, and you can't have an empire, without with free speech. I think you just can't. You can't run it. You can't implement things if people are just not in line, right? And that's
I mean, that you also saw that in Europe very clearly, where free speech is also very much curtailed, and it's limited, and you can only say certain things and in a certain way, and you can't offend a lot of people. Basically, you cannot offend anybody.
Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing here. Actually, here let's listen to Anomalies talk about it. It's not that long, and then we can wrap up.
Don't have the right to harm other people with your words, and you don't have the right to say things that have really negative, really horrible meanings.
You don't have the right to harm people with your words, and you don't have the right to say things that have really horrible and really negative meanings. Okay, Snowflake, you would think this is a liberal, right? Talking like this? It's actually not. It's the Republican Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jay Collins.
You don't have the right to harm other people with your words, and you don't have the right to say things that have really negative, really horrible meanings. When you want people to destroy Israel, that matters.
I'm guessing you're not going to be shocked to find out that he just had a speaking gig with Netanyahu. And Trump's been hanging out with Netanyahu too, and now he's on True Social trying to push war with Iran again. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? Anyway, here's an Israeli cybersecurity billionaire telling the American public that it's time to limit the First Amendment to protect it.
You're seeing the polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
But don't worry, if you're looking for tough talk from the GOP, because of course they don't like foreigners who don't like the First Amendment, you're only going to get it from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's leaving Congress because she doesn't take money from the lobby that almost every politician does. But honestly, it might be smart to play dumb about this topic, because if you're ever honest about it and you prioritize America over Israel, they'll call you an anti-Semite, smear your character in the press, lie about you. And who wants that, right? If you're conservative, you know the liberals are not going to help you. But what a lot of people don't understand is most Zionist Republicans in government seem to be prioritizing Israel over America. And when you factually accurately point that out, they just spiral at you and say it's anti-Semitism. Let me know what you think in the comments. God bless you.
Yeah, I mean, they are brazen to go after our First Amendment. I mean, they must be crazy. They must really have no fear if they think the American people are just going to take it. But
why would they have fear? What has the American public done to make you think that we would stand up for any of our rights get trotted on?
Nothing yet. You know what did, though, was COVID. You know, they did go too far. There was huge pushback with COVID, huge. If it wasn't for that pushback, then, we would have really spiraled into a tyranny.
But they do
maybe something similar happened to this. I'm not sure.
These Orwellian lines, like you have to protect it in order. We want freedom of speech, but in order to have freedom of speech, we
must limit it. Yeah,
It's like very Orwellian.
Double speak.
It's double speak. Yeah, it's
definitely double speak.
And also,
if we are going to be an overt empire, which I believe so also, like I said 2 days ago, I was at lunch and I said, I think we're going to have a king. So it's very similar to what you said, an emperor, which is probably more accurate. And, people were saying, it's kind of outlandish, but I've said outlandish thing in the past, this is what they said, I said outlandish things in the past that have come true. So they don't know when, but I think what you described is a way for that to happen. And we might not have no choice. We might not have a choice if we are to survive.
Yeah, and I think also, it ties into the whole UFO thing, right? Because if this is revealed, right, if it's revealed that there's something more out there and that we have innate abilities and all this kind of stuff is really mind-blowing, like if it's actually real, and a lot of normies have no idea that it's even happening, right? When you talk about it, then first it transforms politics completely. It transforms societies completely. It just means that we're really leveling up in a way, and that from a government or from a deep state perspective, I should say, from a deep state perspective, it means you want to harness all this power and you want to limit the liabilities, which is us, right? So you would want to transform society into a prison system in order to harness it and to limit the dangers of it, and if we have these innate abilities,
and I think
we are dangerous, right?
And I think, and depending on how they spin it, they might say like the empire is divinely ordained.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely, and maybe it will even get divine ordained something like in 2026 that Trump is at the pyramids, or like DJ Tiesto was playing at the pyramids. Why was he playing there? Like, this is also a clear sign that something is going to happen with those pyramids. And that he might be touched by whatever, and the people almost say it's Trump, our new elected divine person,
leader,
God Emperor.
Emperor. So I think that's a very real possibility that they either stage something like that or something like that actually happens. But there will definitely be a spin along those lines. That he will be divine, like kings in the past were.
For sure, man.
I see it happening. Anointed.
Yeah. Maybe he'll go full old school and pull a sword out of a stone.
Could you imagine?
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Well, we'll be watching it, and for everyone listening, you heard it here first from Nick, and I think he's right on the money. So there's going to be a convergence for sure.
But just for the people out there, this doesn't have to happen, right? There's a clear alternative. No. If we all rise up and we, embrace sound money or Bitcoin or, whatever, or gold is also fine, right? If people just wake up to how the economic system works and, start organizing themselves locally and start ignoring all these people, then it doesn't have to happen. But,
and I think Bitcoin Live is a definitely a great show where you guys explore all of these. You have excellent guests on. You have experts in the field, and they bring up all these issues, and there are solutions to this, like you said.
Yeah. And we're glad that you're also part of the family, or we're part of your family. So it's cool to have genuine UAP researchers part of the team.
Yeah, and we definitely we love the fact that we've met you guys and are part of the family. Thank you for that. We're very thankful for that. And just for the listeners, if you're interested in this subject, you should, and you want to explore also the economic aspect of it, of what's going on, and definitely give Nick and Sid and the team over there, Bitcoin Live, a follow and listen. They get into very esoteric and philosophical spaces as well. But important, if you want to get ready for what's happening, what's the point of knowing or seeking out information of what's going to happen without really understanding the financial structure? So,
and then turning it into action, right? Because you also want to give you don't want just knowledge, right? Because knowledge can also really depress you.
Trust me, I know all about that.
If you can't turn it into actionable, into action,
right?
And that's sort of also what we're about, because you can just organize yourself quickly and plug into a growing, vibrant, entrepreneurial society that is there to help you survive this transition that we're going through.
Almost like a parallel economy. I mean, so if someone's getting into crypto now and is looking at the market and just how volatile it is, and what words of advice do you have for them?
Volatility is, a sign that something is not yet there, or not there yet. So that's actually a healthy, good sign. It means that you're early, and that the upside is still huge, in my opinion. Of course, it's not financial advice, but I see Bitcoin as a savings technology. I think there's also still some room for gold and silver the coming years. But at some point, I do believe gold and silver will both be industrial metals, and become part of the Internet of Things, robotics, AI. You need to have huge amount of conductivity. And when you saw the price of gold rise, everybody, gold became too expensive. So industrials switched to silver, and then silver spiked. And now China's intervening because their economy needs silver at a certain price. So they sort of they stopped it from rising.
I've seen that squeeze. I mean, it's what is it? They have it capped at 75 or something. They're forcing people to sell by increasing margin calls. And,
because otherwise their industry
playing all the tricks. Yeah. So that so I think and as soon as things turn into industrial metals, they lose a lot of their they lose their monetary value because why use them? Right.
And then and I think the people who so anyway, I don't know if Bitcoin was created, but I don't know who created Bitcoin. Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But the persons of the groups who created it did have gigantic foresight. And I think one of the things that they probably saw coming was this, space-based economy.
Yeah.
And then you definitely need something like Bitcoin, to run AI and this new.
And a planetary civilization. Yep. Yeah, you need crypto for that. You definitely do. Well, cool, man. This was a great show, guys.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot in here. We talked about a lot of issues. So, if you guys want to delve deeper into the economic side of this, again, definitely check out Nick and Sid at Bitcoin Live and the other team members there. They know what they're talking about, and like Nick said, you can have this information and this knowledge, and then put something to action where you're not getting depressed and blackpilled. That you can actually do something about it.
And it's all for free, so there's not a paywall. I don't have a book.
Right? Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Soon a game maybe.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun. It was a great show, and I think we covered a lot of ground. And it was fun being back on because it's been a while.
Yes, it's definitely been a while. Yeah, definitely. We love having you back and having these discussions with you and having your perspective, especially on geopolitics. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I should, I basically started writing this stuff like months ago. Well, I started writing.
Oh yeah, Do you want to plug? I think you have a Substack, right? You want to plug that?
Yeah. No, I don't have the Substack yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm very slow with it. I do have on X you can also do articles, but I got a lot of unwritten or half-written articles. And one of these half-written articles I started writing when Trump said that he wanted to annex Canada, and then I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then I put this grand theory, sort of puzzled it together. But I should finish that article and put it out there because reality is catching up.
Exactly. Do it quick. No, I'm definitely put it out there as well and promote it.
Cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
All right. Any last things to plug there, Nick? Social media, things like that?
If you see my handle underneath my name, Bitcoin Live DB. If you go there on X, we have a link tree there, and you can also put the link tree underneath the video. If you have the link tree, you basically have access to everything from YouTube to Twitch to Rumble to wherever we are streaming to. That should be sufficient for everything.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
Fantastic. Adam, your turn.
Yeah, so since you guys are listening to us, I don't know on what platform. We are on all the major platforms, all the video ones, and the podcasting platforms as well. We have an X at UAP the podcast. I am at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher It All. So make sure to check us out over there. If you are listeners only on Spotify or Apple, any of those, come over to YouTube. Just give us a follow. If you don't want to listen to us or watch us on YouTube, just give us a follow there.
Smash that like and subscribe button.
Smash that button. And comments, it really helps with the algorithms. It just does, sorry to say it. And we got a shill for it every single time. Other than that, I think we're all good. If there's any videos you guys have or any experiences with NHI or UFOs, UAP, aliens, send those to our email at uncoveringanomalies@gmail.com. I should probably get a Proton email for us, but for now it's at Gmail, and we'll take a look at it and probably have you on to discuss if we think it's good enough.
If we deem it cool enough. Yeah, and also if there's a topic UFO abduction or conspiracy you'd like us to cover
Oh, yeah.
recover. You know, it's been a while we've been doing this. We might need to go back and clean up some of
We
our
have
previous
some.
acts.
Yep.
Yeah, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, we love doing deep dives. Yeah, send those over if we haven't covered it already, or if we need to cover something else of that subject. So yeah, and that's all.
All right, that's going to do it for all of us here at the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. And we just want to remind you one last time, mark your calendar for August 11th, because that's when the gravity will be shut off.
Should be a fun time. I'll probably have a leash or something. Or a
That's all the skydivers and bungee jumpers out there.
Yeah, exactly.
but again, remember, the chaos and fear doesn't happen until about 5 seconds in. So also remember to enjoy yourself.
Yes. So I guess we should be back by next. We should be back next week.
Yes.
Right?
We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Cool.
Take care.
Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps. Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps.